It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines claims that woman slave was left by police outside Milton Keynes Hotel. Go ahead for UK's first womb transplants, and wins for Wickham and Luton, defeat for Stevenage.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a travel lodge. 39-year-old Pamela Turkey went on to take legal action against her employers and was awarded £180,000 in compensation. Thames Valley Police say they take safeguarding very seriously but won't comment on the case specifically. Victoria Marks, a solicitor with the Anti-Trafficking and Labour Exploitation Unit, says the police got involved after the family tried to stop the woman leaving.
They chased after her and tried to stop her. That was when the police came involved, and the police dumped her at a Travelodge hotel where a Good Samaritan met her and helped her find her way to Callianne.
The go-ahead's been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplants following the success of the procedure in Sweden. The clinical trial will involve 10 women, and if successful, the first British babies born from donor wombs could be delivered in 2017. People illegally subletting in Aylesbury Vale are being told to hand in their keys and avoid jail. The 1-month amnesty is being held from tomorrow to tackle tenancy fraud. More from Jessica Cooper.
The Vale of Aylesbury Housing Trust says it's taking a bold step to tackle this problem, to send a strong message to criminals. Housing fraud can lead to a fine of up to £5,000 or prison for up to 2 years. Tenants must hand in their keys, make sure the property's empty, and there's no rent to pay. The problem is estimated to have cost councils and housing associations close to £2 billion in 2013.
A young girl was airlifted to hospital with life-threatening injuries after a collision with a car in Linslade in Leighton Buzzard yesterday afternoon. She was taken to Addenbrooke's Hospital in an air ambulance piloted by Prince William. David Cameron has announced that £25 million of foreign aid will be used to help build a new prison in Jamaica. It will be used to house Jamaican inmates currently detained in the UK. An investigation is continuing into the cause of a fire that badly damaged part of a Hertfordshire private school. A boarding house at Bishop Stortford College caught fire in the early hours of yesterday morning. More than 60 pupils and staff were evacuated. Headmaster Jeremy Gladwin says there's not much left of the building.
The building has nearly been gutted. The top 2 floors of the building have gone, and various walls have been falling down, so it's a building which won't be habitable again, I don't think.
In sport, Wickham are top of League 2 after beating 10-man Cambridge at Adams Park.
Falls to Harriman. What a goal! What a goal by Wickham Wanderers. It's Michael Harriman. A right-footed half volley from 25 yards. Better with no chance. It's a top corner. Wickham Wanderers 1, Cambridge United 0.
Luton are up to 11th after a third successive win, 3-1 at Morecambe, but Stevenage remained 20th after a third successive defeat. Teddy Sheringham's side lost 2-0 at home to Mansfield. The weather dry and sunny but breezy, a maximum temperature today 18 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
It's coming. It's coming. Oh, hang on a minute. It's not. I've completely broken the thing here. Hang on. Right, bear with me. Start again. Right, go. Hang on. Go.
I'm a truck. I'm a truck.
Say, mister, are you a truck?
Yeah, I'm a truck.
Can I have a ride?
Sure, hop in. Oh, I'm a truck. I'm a truck.
Say, mister, you ride good. Mind if I turn on the radio?
Go ahead. Now the chart topper on this week's Top 30 Countdown. I'm a truck. I'm a truck.
It was worth it in the end, wasn't it, guys? It was worth it. Okay, 03459 455 555. What the hell is in your car? I'll tell you why. My car, it turns out, is... Well, Catherine saw it the other day. I let her go, don't worry. It is full of what can only be described as, I'm not going to say the word, but crap! Full of it! Also, I have wet socks, leaky boots. You see there might be a connection there. Empty sandwich boxes, many of those. 2 tokens for a fairground, you know, because you have to... There's tokens at fairgrounds now. What's that all about? You ever notice that? When you go to fairground now, it's tokens, not money. What's that about? And in the boot of the car, I have various documents and books that I can never touch again because I also have a leaky, breaky heart. Don't touch my heart, my leaky, breaky heart. I've got a leaky big bottle of oil. Now, I'm not going to chuck the oil away because that's worth millions. But it's leaked over everything in the boot of my car, and I keep forgetting, and so I keep putting things in there, and then, oh no. My passport, I can't grip now. Every time my passport was in the boot of my car, don't ask me why. And every time I grip it, it just kind of slips out of my fingers. I can never travel abroad again. Or if I do, it'll be hilarious when I get to customs, and they go, whoa, who's this guy? So what's in your car, please? 03459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sweet Lord, that was loud. Now, I can't remember if this is any good or not. I like the song. It's Springsteen and Ray Davis. I just can't remember if this worked. Let's try it. Let's try it.
Comes tomorrow. Hoping all the verses rhyme and the very best of choruses to follow. Follow all the doubt and sadness. I know that better things are on the way. Here's hoping all the days ahead won't be as bitter as the ones behind you. Be an optimist instead. Somehow happiness will find you. Forget what happened yesterday. I know the better things are on the way. It's really good to see you rocking out and having fun. Living like you just begun. Accepting life and what it brings. I hope tomorrow you'll find better things. Tomorrow you'll find better things. Here's wishing you the bluest sky and hoping something better comes tomorrow. Hoping all the verses rhyme, the very best of choruses to follow. Follow all the doubt and sadness. I know that
Okay, it was all right. It was all right. Here's the... okay, I need a sheet of paper because we're doing What's in Your Car. And also, what's the point of? And we're going to... Top of that list, A number 1, King of the Hill, Queen Ant of the Heap, is Bruce Springsteen. What is the point of Bruce Springsteen? Very gruff.
Husky man of the people. He's like a union rep with a microphone and a guitar.
Not like that union rep. Has anyone seen the union rep for ASLEF, which I think is the union for Magic Lions? Is that right? Guys, ASLEF? It's a Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe gag. Come on.
Oh, like Aslan.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
And also, he looks like a lion. Have you seen it?
He looks like a wizard.
There's this guy. Let's all post pictures of him. His name's Merlin MacDonald, and he looks like a magical lion. It's insane here. Type in McDonald, not the Merlin bit, 'cause I made that up. McDonald and Aslef. You'll see. I've never seen, not since my friend Steve at college I've never seen hair like that. The amount of shampoo.
This fella?
Yeah.
He looks a bit like, you know, that fella who reckons he's King Arthur that goes to Stonehenge every year?
I don't know that fella.
Well,
no.
him.
There's a fella that reckons he's King Arthur.
Yeah.
I could have pulled that sword from that stone if I'd been given the opportunity.
Loosened it, didn't they?
Exactly.
If you walked in
Hello?
on him if you walked in on him in the shower, he would have his hair all shampooed up and then his beard all shampooed up too.
I don't think adult men do that. Children, and I'm guessing now women approaching their late to teens, do that. But men don't, because we can grow our own beards. Some of us can grow our own beards. Coming up in the show. The Bare Naked Ladies exclusive interview. I say exclusive, I mean they've done other interviews on this tour, but it's exclusive because we were there. And here we go. Right, so what's in your car? A list of pointless people. Number one, Springsteen. Ladies and gentlemen, his concerts go on too long.
Oh, I think he's all right.
Sorry?
I think he's all right.
You're doing it out there, eh?
No, I'm coming in a minute. I'm just printing off.
Okay, well, we've got 4 minutes. I'm filling until you come in.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
His concerts are too long. There's a reason that concerts are like 2 hours.
Longer than Max.
Huh?
He's not Ken Dodd, though. His concert's gone too long. That's too long.
Okay. And I forgot what the other one was. I had something then. So what's in your car?
Shampoo beard.
No. Pointless people. We were talking.
You were going to tell me something. You said you'd save it.
We'll do that later on. That's about the dog walking thing. So what's in your car? Pointless people, and we just were about to men they don't grow they can grow their own beards. No, it's gone. It's okay. It don't matter. We'll stick with what we got. I love it when you turn on the second microphone here. I sound like I'm in a tin can. Now, the lawyer of a woman who'd been held as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was dumped at a Travelodge by people who should have protected her, the police. The police picked up 39-year-old Pamela Turkey by chance. She was confused, didn't speak English. According to a brief, if it hadn't been for a good Samaritan who worked at the hotel, her story might never have come out. Catherine, I don't remember this story. Give me the background, please.
Oh, well, Pamela has been awarded thousands of pounds in compensation at an employment tribunal because she had made numerous claims, including those for unpaid wages and religious and racial discrimination. The tribunal heard that Pamela's employers had gone to India with the sole intention of finding someone of low caste who would not merely be of service but servile. She was then kept in domestic servitude for 4.5 years in Milton Keynes. Now, they didn't seek to find someone who was living in the UK because no such person would have accepted their intended conditions of work.
Can you go to that microphone, please? Because it's sounding. You were up to the max there, and I was getting nothing. Try speaking into there.
Is that any better?
Oh, we can hear you. Fantastic. What sort of conditions was she subjected to?
She was subjected by this couple, Mr. and Mrs. Chandok. They subjected Miss Turkey to unacceptable working conditions, including this: working 7 days per week, 18 hours a day for 4.5 years. She was on call 24 hours. She was paid 11 pence an hour.
Gosh.
The national minimum wage, of course, currently £6.50.
That's significantly off.
She slept on the floor, prevented from bringing her Bible to the UK and from attending church, not allowed to contact her family. They set up a bank account in her name which they controlled and used for their own benefit, so that 11 pence an hour.
And it was all accidental that she got found?
Yeah, she was trying to get in touch with her family and had to leave the house to top up her phone. Now, Pamila's solicitor is Victoria Marks, and she's from the Anti-Trafficking and Labour Exploitation Unit.
She had been unable to contact her family for a very long period of time, and she was desperate to communicate with them. And she eventually decided that she was going to try and top up her phone so that she could make contact with them. And she told Mrs. Chandok that she was going to leave the house. It was when Mrs. Chandok realised that she was leaving the house, which was something she wasn't authorised to do. They chased her after her and tried to stop her. And that was when the police came involved, and it was only with the police involvement that she actually was removed from that situation.
And police then, in her lawyer's words, dumped her at a Travelodge hotel in central Milton Keynes. And it was only because a Good Samaritan, the hotel's manager, Trudy Tuff, spoke to her and helped her find her way to a charity which is called Callian. It's a charity in London which provides justice for migrant domestic workers. And we'll be speaking to Trudy and the charity later on.
OK, let's skip this next bit. The victim's reaction on the next page. What's been the victim's reaction to this case?
Well, she says she wants the public to know what happened to her. She has to speak through an interpreter. She wants people to know what happened to her because this must not happen to anybody else. The stress and anxiety that this sort of thing creates for a person can destroy them. I've not been able to smile because my life has been destroyed. Now I'm able to smile again. Now I'm free.
I'm hoping the police have said loads of stuff, given us a statement. I know they haven't.
No, not at all. The afternoon team invited them to join us this morning. They declined and sent us a statement. I'm not going to read it out. They're saying that they take safeguarding very seriously, but they won't discuss this case with us. They say if Pamela has a complaint about the way she was dealt with, she should take it through the official channels.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Quiet so far this morning on the motorways, even on the M1 where there's roadworks in both directions between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable. There's a lane closed each way, so expect that to get busy later on. There's also roadworks going on in High Wycombe on Marlow Hill around Dawes Lane outside the John Hampton School, so expect it to get busy there too. And in Hatfield on Great North Road, it's quiet so far at St Albans Road East, but expect it to build up later on because of the roadworks going on there too. On the train to Perchport, a 6:34 service from Bedford to Sutton is delayed, and on the Underground, the Piccadilly line has minor delays between Uxbridge and Acton Town. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 6:16, it's Wednesday the 30th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. The go-ahead's been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplants. And in last night's football, there were wins for Wycombe and Luton, but defeat for the Stevenage Stevens.
If you've missed any of the programmes here on BBC Three Counties Radio, you've missed things like this.
What have you got for us, Liz? Can you beat leaving his scooter behind?
Yes. I've left my knickers behind.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
And he had been replaced with a baby grey budgie.
What?
Yes, he's been replaced.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Yes, the idea of preparing for Monty Python made me aware that I enjoy being on stage, enjoy being in front of a live audience.
Allowing you to listen to what you missed.
Would you sue your neighbour, your friends, if your child got hurt on one of their trampolines?
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Got a keyboard last night for my birthday, and that's some of the stuff that I wrote on it.
Beautiful.
Got plenty. I've actually written quite a lot of songs on the old keyboard last night. Do you want to?
Do you use a single finger chord mechanism?
I beg your pardon. I was playing with my keyboard.
Where'd you stand on fillings?
I don't stand. There we go. Listen to it. Here we go. Listen to this. Just some stuff I did.
No, hang on. Sounds familiar.
No.
Yep. That bit for sure.
Oh, yeah. It just made me messing around last night.
So creative.
It's better than doing drugs or mugging old lady kids.
Lady kids.
Those lady kids. I mean, I just don't know what to think about them. Here we go. Last one. This is another. That was a tough one to play. So play that one again. That was a toughie.
Gosh.
That's a toughie.
How long have you had that keyboard?
I only got it yesterday for my birthday.
Gosh.
I was playing it, and again, I just... That's a fast one. I mean, flipping heck. It took me ages. It took me about 20 minutes to get that one spot on, and then I did, and I just recorded it like this. The trick was, because I did that then. So I was recording it just onto my cassette recorder. Got that for my birthday as well. Thanks, Nan. At the end, I kept going, and I had to keep doing it until I didn't do it. So I'll be playing it. Oh, God, I've done the humming. I have to do it again and again. And I mean, Mum was banging on the ceiling.
Will you pack that in?
It's 9:10, way past your bedtime, boy. Turn that off. Oh, Mum, you've ruined it. I've got to do it again now, Mum. And then when I knew that she was watching Minder, I was flicking the V's at that. Don't you flick the V's at me, boy!
They don't understand about your music, do they?
They don't understand.
So, have you thought about jacking this in and concentrating on the music?
I have actually, yeah.
Because I think it might be getting in the way.
Yeah, I have actually. In fact, I wrote a song last night. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
It goes a little bit like this.
You're out of breath.
Yeah, it's hard work. Recorded this all by myself.
If I get trousers to wear, maybe just take it half inch off my hair. I'm a boy, I'm all I wanna be. I'm a boy, if I say I am, I get it. Put your frock on, Jane Marie, flat your hair, Felicity. Paint your nails, little Sally Joy. Put this wig on, little boy. I'm a boy, but I'm all I wanna be. I'm a boy, if I say I am, I get it. Ride my bike across the stream, cut myself and see my blood. I wanna come home all covered in mud. I'm a boy, I'm all I wanna be. I'm a boy, I'm a boy. I'm a boy, I'm a boy.
Muddy. But then I added this at the end. You see, then I just added this.
That brightened it right up.
Sorry?
That brightened it right up, didn't it?
That was Muddy. That was The Who, live at the BBC in 1966 from the Who compact disc, live at the BBC. Muddy. Should be bracketed Muddy.
Yeah.
Should say Muddy. What's the point of Springsteen? My sister, who's listening in New Zealand, I wish my sister wouldn't get sexual with me. She sent me a picture of Springsteen in his trousers, but he's not had time. He must have forgotten to do his fly and his top button up. Because I can see pubic triangle makes people disappear. I can see his crab ladder.
That trouser beard.
It really is. So please don't tell me that, Joe. That's inappropriate. Scott says Springsteen has done one good record, which, when you consider his career has spanned 129 years, is not a very good hit rate. What's the point of Springsteen? What's the point of other people? 03459 455 555. What's in your car? We had a text on that as well. Look, people are getting involved. I have cactus compost and a unicycle in my car.
Oh.
Ooh, there's a story there. You know who has unicycles in their cars?
Clowns. Street entertainers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another word for it. Yeah, street entertainers. You can buy. I'll play the entertainer later on. You can buy. We know because Dealey saw it. Electric unicycles for about 600 quid. What is the world coming to? Really? When that's a thing, what's the world coming to? What's the world coming to? I'm just going to ask Kelly Betts. Kelly, what's the world coming to?
What, when that's a thing?
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Thank you. You see, she agrees, and she's an old soul in a young body.
Do you know what? I have 2 words there. Lazy freaks.
All right, we're doing our best, and we can't.
We are. We're really trying.
Not only do you want to show off by riding a unicycle, but you can't be bothered to even pedal it.
There we go.
Lazy freaks.
Lazy freaks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome live on stage for the first time together in 30 years. It's the Lazy Freaks. Hooray! Then the Lazy Freaks come out and they play their greatest hit.
That one sounded a bit like Downtown.
Downtown Abbey.
I've never watched that programme.
I have literally no interest in watching that nonsense, that political, that classist nonsense, that boring, classist, political nonsense.
It's just got a bit late for me, that's all.
People illegally subletting in Aylesbury Vale are being offered the chance to avoid jail, I hope the rest of this sentence rhymes, by handing their keys in as part of an amnesty Vale. It does, but it doesn't make sense. For 1 month, starting tomorrow, the Vale of Aylesbury Housing Trust is encouraging people who are committing tenancy fraud to come forward.
Yeah. Don't laugh, they're serious.
Oh, yeah, those people that are making money illegally, they're going to come forward and go, oh, I'm sorry. I mean, come on, guys. The problem is estimated to have cost councils and housing associations close to £2 billion in 2013. Catherine, I'm always...
What was that noise?
There was another voice inside of me. Oh, we'll discuss that later. I never quite understand amnesties because the people that get involved are the people that aren't really a threat when it comes to guns and knives. What? To explain.
Money. It's bad money, isn't it? The problem's estimated to have cost councils and housing associations close to £2 billion. End of interview. This is all about trying to avoid further tenancy fraud cases and therefore expense, I guess. All housing providers, they say, have a responsibility to ensure social housing is used appropriately, and recovering properties means they can be re-let to another family in need. So they're kind of appealing to your social conscience with this one. Throughout October, the Vale of Aylesbury Housing Trust will hold this amnesty, trying to encourage people committing fraud to hand in their keys. That way they can avoid a fine of up to £5,000 or a prison sentence of up to 2 years.
Flip.
Tenants must give the keys to the trust, hand in their notice with no rent to pay, and make sure the property is empty. So far this year, 6 cases of housing fraud have been uncovered by the trust.
A whole 6, you say? Wowzers. That must leave these that gives them good reason to want to be part of the amnesty, because they must be quaking in their boots at their detective-like skills.
Well, the most common types are unlawful subletting, obtaining housing by deception, I mean, the mind boggles, and wrongly claimed succession.
Are they the first to do this?
No. A number of other housing associations have done something similar. A report from the Audit Commission last year says the London Borough of Camden ran an amnesty for 2 months in 2013.
Okay.
And 7 properties were returned, so 7 in a year. Yeah. And even though that doesn't sound like many, they had a replacement value of £1 million. But the publicity led to many phone calls and more investigations. Right, this is the thing. They're talking about an amnesty. They're also asking people to dob their neighbours in.
Yep.
Another housing association, Peabody Housing in London, has held a couple of amnesties and received more than £6 million as a result. They are asking people, if you know that someone is illegally subletting or shouldn't have that property that they're living in, to call
Now,
them.
what's the definition of an illegal sublet?
Well,
I need to clarify this.
Right, OK, so as far as I understand it, if you're a council tenant, it's in your name.
Yeah.
You don't have the right to rent it out to someone else.
OK. What if you're
renting and you don't realise that's the setup?
What if you worked somewhere? Would you have the right to rent that out? I'll tell you why. I've put this studio on Airbnb.
I think that's fine.
And I'm kind of hoping... I've got some people coming next week.
Where are they gonna sleep?
Well, they can sit in that corner there. I'm not fussed.
They know they've got to be quiet when the red light's on, right?
Yeah. I'm sure they'll be... I mean, it's all in the advert.
All right. Oh, it sounds kosher.
I don't know if they're Jewish or not. I didn't ask.
Doesn't matter, does it?
It literally does not matter at one job.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's starting to build up on the North Orbital Road around the M25 junction 21A roundabout, but it's still quiet on the M25. Elsewhere on the motorways on the M1, there's roadworks going on in both directions between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable, so that is likely to get busy later on this morning. And on the trains, the 6:34 service from Bedford to Sutton has been delayed, and on the Underground on the Piccadilly line there are minor delays between Uxbridge and Acton Town. Samantha Braff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. 39-year-old Pamela Turkey went on to take legal action against her employers and was awarded £180,000 in compensation. The go-ahead's been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplants following the success of the procedure in Sweden. People illegally subletting in Aylesbury Vale are being told to hand in their keys and avoid jail. And an investigation is continuing into the cause of a fire that badly damaged part of a Hertfordshire private school. A boarding house at Bishop Stortford College caught fire in the early hours of yesterday morning.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Wycombe are top of League Two after beating 10-man Cambridge 1-0 at Adams Park last night. Michael Harriman scored the winner after Gary Thompson had missed a penalty, but manager Gareth Ainsworth isn't getting carried away.
It's great to be sat there. It is a good start to the season and we're really pleased, but you know, we look at our squad sometimes and we know we're punching above our weight still. It's great to know what the boys will give me week in, week out. Like I say, injuries and suspensions will kill us. We've picked one up tonight with Michael Harriman, who may have tweaked his groin, which will put us down again. But this group of lads, you know, they just keep achieving, and the new boys who've come in look like they've gelled really well with the rest of the group.
Luton are up to 11th after a third successive win, 3-1 at Morecambe. Luke Wilkinson, Cameron McGeehan and Jonathan Smith scored for John Still's side.
For the 90 minutes, we were the best team and deserved to win against a good side. And if you win here, you've got to play well. And we played well. We're getting better. Still not quite, but we're getting better. We're getting stronger. My team starts slow. I can't do nothing about that. It's just what we do. But we finished strong and we're getting better. And I'm really pleased with today's performance.
But Stevenage remained 20th after a third successive defeat. Teddy Sheringham's side lost 2-0 at home to Mansfield.
At this moment, it's not good, and I know it's not good. It's understandable, the little grumblings we're hearing, but I know it can be a lot worse. I've been at clubs before when it's been a lot worse. It's no different now. We have to dig deep and be strong together.
And in the Champions League, there were defeats for both Arsenal and Chelsea. Arsenal lost 3-2 at home to Olympiacos. Chelsea lost 2-1 away to Porto. Tonight, Manchester City visit Borussia Mönchengladbach, with Manchester United at home to another German side, Wolfsburg. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin at 7.
I like the pilot. 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 Doot 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 doot.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
running out of extra bits. I could use another roll, could use another roll right now. Stop messing with my duct tape heart. Your best won't make it fall apart, because I'll always have enough for when I gotta tip it up, beat up. Stop messing with my duct tape heart, 'cause no one's ever gonna tear that thing apart. Polyethylene, cold and pressure sensitive tape. It's dry, it's true, nothing it can't do. Fix the fender on the Rover that was left on the moon. It's good enough for you. Stop messing with my duct tape heart. Your best won't make it fall apart, because I'll always have enough for when I gotta tip it up, beat up. Stop messing with my duct tape heart. Your best won't make it fall apart, because I'll always have enough for when I gotta tip it up, beat up. Stop messing with my duct tape heart. You know you're never gonna tear that thing apart.
As requested by the Bare Naked Ladies from their new album Silver Ball, Duct Tape Up, with an exclusive interview with them. What, about 8:30?
Yeah,
Why
let's
not?
do it then.
Why not? Why does your microphone soon good and my microphone soon bad? Ou quoi? Ou quoi? Ou quoi? You've got to question. Or maybe if I go.
What are you doing?
Exterminate!
Yours has to stay on low.
Exterminate! Oh, what fun! What fun! I can do this as well. Ooh, hang on a minute. Here's a Dalek in a cave. Hang on a second.
Oh, yeah.
Exterminate!
Oh, a bit Larson there as well.
A little bit the old Larson. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. Let's just find out what's happening on BBC Radio Norfolk.
God, it's fine, dry, sunny, temperatures getting up to 17 Celsius.
Weather.
Oh, lovely.
That's weird. Because we get out. This is insane.
So I don't really want to take up your airtime with just filling it with nonsense. It's just going to be very nice with some sunshine.
Well, that's lovely.
And classic weather
we've
bands.
got you.
That's weird, because it's like being in Sliders or something, where the world is the same but ever so slightly different. The difference there is they get their weather at 6:35. We get ours at about 6:46.
I know what's going on.
Wagwan weather, wagwan. The papers are full of just brilliant stuff today. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
Go on, I haven't found any.
Have you not?
Not really, no.
OK, well then give me the mirror. I'll swap you the mirror for the sun, because the mirror's a little bit better. There's still loads in the sun.
Right, give me a chance then.
OK, well first things first, right? You know Patrick Moore?
Yeah.
I wish I said... I'm going to swap mics in a minute, because this is annoying me. Patrick Moore, right?
Oh, I thought you said Muir. I don't know him.
Patrick Moore. Plays the Glockenspiel. Talks about stars. He's dead.
I don't anymore, yeah.
Patrick Moore. You know Patrick Moore, the Games Master. You remember him, Kelly, from the Games Master?
Yeah.
Games Master, how do I get past the ghosts on level 6 of Ghosts and Goblins? Well, what you need to do is...
It's a bit more, well.
Well, oh yeah, I was doing Yoda. Well, what you need to do is you double tap left and then you... Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's dead. And his monocle is up for sale. Have a guess how much his monocle's going to go for?
Old man's monocle, I'd pay 50 quid.
Oh, this is not just any old man's monocle.
It's a fat old man's monocle. 50 quid.
No! £800.
What?
£800 for Patrick Moore's monocle.
You wouldn't even be able to wear it, it's not your prescription.
Ever done snuff?
No.
Oh, baby. Snuff really hurts when you inhale it up the nasal...
Makes a right
capacity.
messy hanky, doesn't it?
Well, no, what you do is, because you got a little hole there. If you get your thumb and your finger... You ever tried snuff, Kels?
No, thank you.
We'll put it on the list. If you get your little thumb and your finger there, there's a little gap there. You see that little pot? That's for snuff. So you fill that up with
I
snuff.
thought that was for salt when you're doing tequila slammers.
No. You fill that up with snuff and then... It really is.
It sounds so glamorous.
It's tobacco, isn't it? So I'm not
It's horrible.
suggesting you do it, kids. It's horrible. You can still buy it in newsagents. It's a weird...
It's like being determinedly old-fashioned, isn't it?
It's like sniffing cocaine, but without there being any form of high. It's weird. I don't quite
It makes your nose all brown and that.
We went through a thing at school.
Yeah, we had
honestly,
boys at school like that.
Don't do it, it's horrible. We went through it was like a week when we were doing snuff. And it really is, it's a very strange... But I associate, and don't do it, it's horrible. Well, do it if you want, it's your life. I don't know, I did it, it's up to you. I'm not recommending it, though. I associate snuff with monocles. They're very old. Why would you only need to be able to see through one eye? Unless, of course, you're looking in a microscope at a petri dish, at amoeba.
Well, I wear glasses or contact lenses, as you know, and I've got one eye that's weaker than the other. So, I guess, that.
Well, then why not wear glasses where you can get them where one is weaker and one is stronger?
Yeah.
Varifocals. Flipping.
Yeah, where you have to tilt your head back to be able to read
tilt
down.
your head back and tilt your head forward if you're looking at boobs. A monocle worn by Sir Patrick Moore is to be sold along with several globes he used on the telly. The late astronomer was much loved for squinting through the old-fashioned lens on a string. I know what a monocle is! You don't need to What's a monocle? Oh, a lens on a string.
It wasn't on a string anyway, it was on a chain.
Which corrected the sight in his right eye. It's going to go for £800. Now, that sounds a lot, right? But then you compare it with the only contract, this was sold yesterday, the only contract to be signed by them Beatles and that there Brian Epstein. Have a guess how much that went for?
£365,000.
But what, did you buy it?
I've got it here in front of me.
Oh, in the newspaper?
Yeah.
Not the contract.
I can't afford that kind of money.
300... And you know what? The BBC will be going, could we have a lens on it, please? Can we have a lens on it for our thing we're doing next year where we want all rock and roll memorabilia? Can we have a lens on it? We'll give it back. And you go, all right, then make sure you look after it. You give it to them in like one of those plastic wallets you get from Ryman's. And then it takes ages for it to come back, and then they stop returning your emails, and then it gets sent in an envelope, like a flimsy envelope, not even a jiffy, and it's all been folded up.
It's full of jam.
It's got a coffee stain on it.
Oh.
And you try and get hold of the 18-year-old researcher that borrowed it. Oh, they don't work here no more, sorry. Unbelievable. The BBC really needs to buck up its ideas before I invest any more of my time in them. 03459 455 555.
This is a weird compilation you've got playing underneath you.
It's my karaoke.
Oh.
Shake it, like I'm supposed to.
No, those aren't the words, Catherine.
Yeah, they're totally the words. All the right junk in all the right places.
I said, look at my fat bum as I walk down the street. You boys say you don't like it, but you'd like a treat. You'd like to touch it, like to see me bend down, pick up that coin. But I ain't doing that, not for your joy. You see? Those are the actual words.
Gosh, you should tell Meghan Trainor, she's singing it all wrong.
She's singing it all wrong. Hey, fancy... have I written that page down incorrectly? Oh, that's in the Mirror. The other story in the Express, which really is... Oh, look, there's a picture of Pixie Lott dressed up as Audrey Hepburn. Here's an idea, thin women. Stop posing as Audrey Hepburn. Find something else to mimic.
That's already been done.
Why do Brits behave so badly abroad? And they do. We do. When you get the Japanese, right, in their own country, filthy beggars. Filthy.
Yeah, but in private.
No. Oh, no, not in private. You go to, like, the proper restaurants where they don't have seats and stuff on a Friday, Saturday night. What is the Friday night over there? I think it's a Monday night is the Friday night over there. And they can't handle their booze. The Japanese cannot handle their booze. So you walk down through the streets on, like, a Friday night, 9:30, they're all trashed. All these businessmen are trashed in the street. I saw the sweetest thing in Japan, right? 3 businessmen on a train at 9:30 off their trolley on the rice wine. They can't handle it, and one of them puked up everywhere.
Oh dear!
It was so sweet. No, but
why is that sweet?
I've not got to the sweet bit. His friends woke him up because he was unconscious, and all 3 of them cleaned up the vomit. That
bless them
is Japan in a nutshell.
What with?
They found some cardboard and kind of just scooped it up. That's Japan in a nutshell. They'll clean up their own vomit on a Friday night. But when they go to around the world, they're all very well behaved. The Germans are very well behaved. very well behaved. The Italians, very, very well behaved.
Dutch can be a bit leery.
Dutch can be a little bit leery, but
nothing compared to us.
The Brits abroad. Why is that? What is the thing in our heads?
No one knows me, do they? It's that. No one knows me. I can do what I want.
It's just we're just horrible pigs.
I pretend not to be British. I pretend not to understand people.
It's just, and when did, because the Germans, of course, are famous for putting their towels down on the sun lounges, right? They don't do that now. Do you know who does it?
Us.
We do.
Yeah, but we're doing it in retaliation.
When we went to Kefalonia, we stayed at this place for 3 nights. Stayed at this place, and there were loads of Brits there, and we looked out the window. And it was all Union Jack beach towels on
that's
the
thing. It's kind of aggressive.
But what? I don't understand. Why not? I got an idea. Why don't you, if you want a sun lounge, just get up. The thing is, if I were to go down there at 9 o'clock in the morning and chuck their towel in the pool, there's nothing legally. It's not legally binding contract with the sun lounger.
But that's what Brits used to do to the Germans. Remember, they used to be, flipping heck, fancy doing that? I'm not going to have that. I'm going to go down and sort it out. Leave it, Paul. No, I'm going to definitely do it. It's got not their sun lounger. It's not. They've got no right to do it, and they won't rock up till 11 o'clock anyway after the barbecue.
But Brits abroad. I mean, really, it's disgusting.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's starting to build up on the M1 towards London around junction 9 for Redbourne, and on the M25 it's busy anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford, and it's also looking slow nearby there on the North Orbital Road at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. On the A10 it's slow southbound from College Road towards the M25 at junction 25 for Enfield, and there's no reported problems on the trains at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 6:45. It's Wednesday, the 30th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. The go-ahead's been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplants. And in last night's football, there were wins for Wycombe and Luton, but defeat for the Stevenage Steves.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It may have a little bit of mist and fog out there this morning. Not too much, but there may be 1 or 2 patches out there. Quite chilly for some, but it's more of the same. Blue sky and sunshine for much of the day. A really pleasant afternoon. We do have a brisk northeasterly breeze, which will just take the edge off the temperature a little bit, but it's still going to feel warm in the shelter. Maximum temperature up to 18 Celsius. Overnight tonight, lengthy clear spells in the most part. Could see a bit of cloud working in from the east, but in the most part, dry and clear. So temperature dropping perhaps down to around 8 in the countryside, staying in double figures in towns and cities, but we are hanging on to a little bit of a breeze. However, some places still could get this mist and fog develop where the wind falls a little lighter, so it's going to be a similar night to the one we've just had and a similar start to Thursday. More sunshine tomorrow. Again, the wind's a little bit lighter and therefore it's going to feel a little bit warmer tomorrow. Maximum temperature 18 Celsius, so still staying pleasant right the way through to the weekend, and that's your forecast.
Every weekday from 3.
It's not just about what we bring you.
Starting off on the M25, it's particularly heavy moving anti-clockwise.
It's also about what you bring us.
In the end, I could only eat off my ironing board.
Your stories.
Every room in the house was climbing over mountains of rubbish.
Your humour.
There's a reason why you earn the big bucks, you see. That sort of insightful comment is exactly right.
Your opinions.
Well, the culture's got to change because the police can't do it and the traffic wardens are so busy. So the culture has to change.
I think parents do change into different human beings when they are picking their kids up.
Roberto Perroni.
And everyone across Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I could earn big bucks if I ask good questions. I'm going to. This is what we're talking about this morning. Who's got the best hair in the world? What's the point of Bruce Springsteen? If you want to add anybody to that list, you're more than welcome to. And what's in your car? 03459 455 555. Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. 03459 455 555. Not the mirror. I meant... Oh, no, I'll have the mirror. I've got the mirror.
Yeah, you've got the mirror.
Great picture, guys. There's nothing better. Thing about pictures, my camera never lies anymore because there's nothing worth lying for. Of course, the poetry of Bucks Fizz, the most dangerous band in rock and roll. But cameras do lie because A, they can be airbrushed, and B, they capture a moment and you don't know what's happening before or after. Unless, of course, you've got the new iPhone. And I showed you this. It takes a picture, but it takes, like, picture either side of the picture so you can watch the picture move. Have you seen that, Kel? It's weird.
Like a flick book.
It's like a flick book. So it takes pictures either side of the picture, so you... I want the picture.
Yeah.
Anyway. Brilliant. Well, actually, there's two brilliant pictures here of Vladimir Putin and Alexander Obama. No, what's his name?
Barack
Obama.
Barry Obama.
Barry Obama. There's two pictures of them. They do not look happy to see each other.
No,
they look peed off.
No. But you don't know what's going on.
We do. They're having a standoff. One of them loves Assad. The other one wants to see him blown to smithereens. That's what's going on there. One of them is supports terrorism. The other one's Vladimir Putin. Thanks very much. Good night. Boom shakalak, ladies and gentlemen. Ben Elton has left the building.
But you don't know that that's what's happened. They might have just been told there's no donuts.
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
I mean, you don't know.
Or maybe. Putin has lived up to his name and he's blocked the toilet, and Alexander Obama is desperate for a waz.
Or maybe Putin just told a killer gag, they've just stopped laughing, and it's that, oh dear moment where it kind of all goes quiet. I reckon it's that.
Yeah, but maybe it's that, or maybe Alexander Obama, has said to Vladimir Putin, "I really fancy your wife," and he's gone, "That's not my wife. That is not my wife. That is daughter of Putin. You disrespect my name." "No, I'm not disrespecting her, sir, but I'd love to, given half the chance."
Gosh, that sounds like Reagan.
All of the... Hey, here we go. Here we go. This will be a phone-in on another radio station somewhere.
Go on.
1 in 5 smokers is unaware it is illegal from tomorrow to light up when children are in a car. Those who ignore the law to protect youngsters from second-hand smoke face on-the-spot fines of £50. Yet 50% of smokers said the ban would be ineffective.
Who's going to police it?
What if the kids spark up? Is that illegal? If a kiddie sparks up?
It said second-hand, didn't it?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That'd be all right.
So if an 8-year-old sparks up, let's say a silk cut, I don't know if they're still popular cigarettes amongst the
children,
youth.
Training cigarettes.
They were gateway cigarettes, yeah. If a child sparks up, is that illegal? I mean, seriously, it's a serious question.
It's an interesting question. Have you seen this latest Madame Tussauds thing? It makes me want to puke.
Oh, jeez.
Fans wax lyrical with internet sensation Zoe Sugg and Alfie Days, known jointly as Zalfie.
Oh, flippin' heck.
Right, so these are YouTube bloggers, right? They seem like just guys that are doing crazy things, and filming it in their bedrooms, not that. But actually, they're just advertising stuff. And now they've got Madame Tussauds.
I can do that. I can advertise stuff. Hey, if you like glue and a stick, why not get a Pritt stick? There we go. Done that.
Do it, but you've got to do it while making, I don't know, a rabbit or something.
Yeah, I can make a rabbit.
In your bedroom.
Yeah, do that.
In front of a camera.
I've had a rabbit in my bedroom before. Don't tell my mum. Okay, what would you want me to advertise? You like strawberries, but you don't like the taste, the texture of strawberries. Have it in a jam. Strawberry jam. Here you go. Goes great with bread.
Okay,
you like bread? You like sandwiches? You're going to need some bread. Go and get some. Warburtons.
You need to film it, then you'll become a YouTuber.
Warburtons. Go and get some Warburtons. Warburtons bread or Hovis. They're both brilliant. Take your pick.
Kingsmill.
Kingsmill have not paid me the dollar. Kingsmill suck. Warburtons and Hovis.
I thought for a moment you were just a guy talking about bread. I didn't realise you were selling me bread.
Yeah, exactly. You see, that's the skill, guys.
Gosh,
that's
slick.
That's the skill. I love this.
Go on.
So there's a prisoner, right? An escaped convict enjoyed a 2-day mini break with his wife at a hotel after prison guards failed to realise he was missing. I'm guessing he did the age-old trick of putting his pillow underneath the duvet. And
the Ferris Bueller.
And then drawing a face on a paper plate. And then shaving off all of his body hair and sticking it together so it looked like his hair. We've all done that, haven't we, guys?
Very clever.
Then you also attach a rope to some sort of pulley system so that there's slight rocking in the bed, so it looks like you're having a snore.
And you record snoring on your tape.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Douglas Ward, 26, had
And then you
booked...
put a sign saying, do not
Turn it
disturb
over.
Paulie.
Douglas Ward, 26, had booked a £110 a night room using a credit card while serving 5 years for firearms offences. He was arrested after the hotel manager spotted a Facebook post by Ward boasting he was out for the day.
Lex Luthor, he ain't.
What, was he going to go back in then?
Yeah. Well, he went to see his missus. They had a little weekend away. He got the room for free. Because he'd complained that a chair he'd sat on had collapsed and he'd hurt his ankle. And so they said, you can have the room for free. What? That's fair. You've got to respect that.
And then he went back to his room for free.
The government, instead of punishing this man, should be using this man to help us beat China at cybercrime or something.
One slight flaw, though. If he hadn't Facebooked it, he would have got away with it. It's got free. Just a tiny thing there.
03459 455 555. When has Facebook ballsed up your plans?
Call me now.
When have you got away scot-free?
When have you got away scot-free? When has Facebook messed up your plans? Who's got the best hair? What's the point of ... and what's in your car? I mean, we're just firing out.
Les Dennis.
Is in your car?
All of those answers, yes.
Les Dennis. He's a very tiny man, Les Dennis. You got anything in the papers?
Oh, yeah. You were talking about people, Brits abroad.
Oh, yeah.
Were you heading towards these 6 people in a fountain with no clothes on?
That's well, I wasn't heading towards them. I was kind of nodding.
They've apologised for that. They're not sorry. They did it. It's a thing.
Have you got the Sun over? Give me the Sun very quickly, because there's something in the Sun I want to see.
Yeah.
They do this every now and then. I'm guessing. I didn't read the story in its detail. I'm guessing it's a calendar. Yes, it is. Who says boring has to be bad? These blokes are proud to be Britain's dullest men. With their curious collections, the eccentrics are hailed in a new book, Dull Men of Great Britain, produced by the Dull Men's Club. Now, none of these things sound dull to me. I've crossed the line.
They're men with hobbies.
A handsaw expert. This collection is a sight for sore eyes. Retired doctor Simon Barley from the Lake District has collected 1,500 handsaws and is a world expert in the field.
Hand saws or saws? Oh, right, okay. Just the doctor thing threw me.
This is brilliant. A bandstand lover. Bandstand lover. This guy's hobby has a grandstanding. He travels the country visiting I love bandstands. There's a bandstand out there. I love it. Hill measurers. These 3 gentlemen love making a mountain. I'm not going to read the jokes. Spend their weekends measuring hills.
Keeps him busy. What's the problem?
And the final one here. This is actually quite boring. David Grissenthwaite, the 87-year-old from Kirkcaldy in Fife, has kept notes every time he's mown the lawn since 1984. But that's just. I mean, that's sad. That's sad.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's starting to get busy on the M1 towards London past junction 9 for Redbourne. It's also busy on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. And the A1 is slow southbound from the Holiday Inn through the Stirling and Apex corners towards Mill Hill Circus. In Palmer's Green on the North Circular Road, there are queues now between the Great Cambridge interchange at the A10 and Bounds Green Road at New Southgate. On the train to Patchwards, the 7:20 service from Hertford North to Moorgate has been delayed. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy! So, lots to talk about. What's the point of ... Do we really need Springsteen? What's in your car? Who has the best hair? Your Brits abroad stories as well, of course. 03459 455 555.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: claims that police left woman slave outside Milton Keynes Hotel. Go ahead for womb transplants in the UK. And wins for Wickham and Luton, but defeat for Stevenage.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. 39-year-old Pamela Turkey went on to take legal action against her employers and was awarded £180,000 in compensation. Thames Valley Police say they take safeguarding very seriously but won't comment on the case specifically. Victoria Marks, a solicitor with the Anti-Trafficking and Labour Exploitation Unit, says the police got involved after the family tried to stop the woman leaving.
They chased after her and tried to stop her. That was when the police came involved, and the police dumped her at a Travelodge hotel where a Good Samaritan met her and helped her find her way to Callyan.
The go-ahead's been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplants following the success of the procedure in Sweden. The clinical trial will involve 10 women and, if successful, the first British babies born from donor wombs could be delivered in 2017. People illegally subletting in Aylesbury Vale are being told to hand in their keys and avoid jail. The 1-month amnesty is being held from tomorrow to tackle tenancy fraud. More from Jessica Cooper.
The Vale of Aylesbury Housing Trust says it's taking a bold step to tackle this problem, to send a strong message to criminals. Housing fraud can lead to a fine of up to £5,000 or prison for up to 2 years. Tenants must hand in their keys, make sure the property's empty and there's no rent to pay. The problem is estimated to have cost councils and housing associations close to £2 billion in 2013.
A young girl was airlifted to hospital with life-threatening injuries after a collision with a car in Linslade in Leighton Buzzard yesterday afternoon. She was taken to Addenbrooke's Hospital in an air ambulance piloted by Prince William. David Cameron has announced that £25 million of foreign aid will be used to help build a new prison in Jamaica. It will be used to house Jamaican inmates currently detained in the UK. An investigation is continuing into the cause of a fire that badly damaged part of a Hertfordshire private school. A boarding house at Bishop Stortford College caught fire in the early hours of yesterday morning. More than 60 pupils and staff were evacuated. Head Jeremy Gladwin says there's not much left of the building.
The building has nearly been gutted. The top 2 floors of the building have gone, and various walls have been falling down, so it's a building which won't be habitable again, I don't think.
In sport, Wickham are top of League 2 after beating 10-man Cambridge 1-0 at Adams Park. Michael Harriman scored the winner after Gary Thompson had missed a penalty. Luton are up to 11th after a third successive win.
Comes off Smith, it's going to go in, and Smith got it! Smith got the third! It took a rebound, it bounced off the goalkeeper, back onto Smith, and Smith eventually just rolled the ball over the line. It's game over here at the Globe Arena. Morecambe 1, Luton 3.
But Stevenage remained 20th after a third successive defeat. Teddy Sheringham's side lost 2-0 at home to Mansfield. The weather dry and sunny but breezy, a maximum temperature 18 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Simon. It's too. The weather recently has been, fair to say, too hot. Yesterday was very confusing. End of September. I just didn't... what was I supposed to be wearing? It was a confusing experience all round. I can see my team hastily rewriting scripts as guests drop off. Doesn't matter. You give us a thumbs up when you're ready. So, what's in your car? My car, I think life could be created within my car. It's so much rubbish. Loads of sandwich boxes, loads of Costa coffee cups, some tokens for a fare. There's an oil slick in the boot, a leaky... I've got one of those tubs that you put insects in to look at. It magnifies them. I believe it's called a magnifying tub, I'm going to say. What's in your car? And yes, Tony, we can play What's in Your Boat if you don't have a car, of course. Oh, the furthest you've ever travelled in a boat. We'll have that. 03459 455 555. What's the point of... ... Do we really need Bruce Springsteen anymore? And who's got the best hair? 03459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
For suggestions for the best hair. Now, get that. I'd never considered this a possibility. Scott says Diana Rigg in the Avengers, and I went, nah. And then he posted a pic of Diana Rigg in the Avengers, and I went, yeah.
It's not the hair, though, is it?
Yeah.
It's the whole package.
I can't actually see the whole package, but it's good hair. It's good hair, actually. But it's not the best hair.
I was like Betty Boo's.
Betty Boo's hair. Lisa Stansfield.
No.
Yeah.
No, not that silly clown thing she used to do with the curls.
Yeah.
Oh, no, horrible.
No. Nice.
No.
No.
Stiff. She would have used lots
exactly.
to studio line. No.
Style your hair any way you like it. Studio Land. How did that band jump through that paper wall so effectively?
And those maracas were not going in time.
Hey, oh, by the way, if you've ever fallen through a wall, 03459 455 555, we'll have that. I watched a film last night, and this is weird. Okay, we'll put this. There's so many topics today. I hope you're writing all these down, Catherine. Good films where the acting is bad. I watched a brilliant film last night. The acting was awful, and 5 minutes into it I thought, well, I'm not going to stick with this. I'm glad I did, because the film was brilliant. Really strong premise, right? The Cube, starring Philip Schofield and abs. No, it was called The Cube, right? And it's about this fella, and he wakes up and he's in a giant cube, and there's doors on each side. So what is that, like 7 or 8 doors, something like that, I don't know, on each side. And he goes through a door and he gets killed immediately, gets sliced into pieces. Then it cuts to another... And there are 7 people trapped in this giant cube, OK? And they have to travel through the cube, and each door takes them to another cube. And some are traps, some are not traps.
So it's like the Crystal Maze with added death.
With added death, but the 7 people, there's 7 people together, they don't get on. They don't get on. And they're all an integral key to solving out how to escape from... The Cube. Now, it was about 20 years old, this film. The acting was absolutely awful. Awful, but the film was good. Very good.
Here's one.
Yeah.
You're not going to like it.
Go on, mate.
Bill and Ted. It's a brilliant film. The acting's awful.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, the acting's good in Bill and Ted.
No.
Tell me where it's awful. Give me a bit where it's awful. Rufus is good. George Carlin is brilliant in it. And they're brilliant in it because they're playing airheads. They're meant to be...
Yeah, whoa, dude, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They're not really acting, though, are they?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Because we know that Keanu Reeves talks like that all the time.
Yeah.
I've seen Point Break. I've seen Speed.
It's a convincing performance. I'm not allowing that. I'll let you have Speed. The acting in Speed is awful, but it's a great film.
Yeah.
The first one is a great film.
Sandra Bullock saved it, that's why.
Dennis Hopper is overacting as he always does as a psychopath, and a great premise.
But Sandra Bullock was amazing in it.
Yeah, she was good in it. The bit where she hits the baby buggy. It's only tin cans. It's only tin cans. Keep driving. Oh, it's good. So okay, films where the acting is rubbish. But the film is good. The film is good. 03459 455 555 is telephone number if you want to give us a call. 81333. Start your text 3CR. Now, onwards and upwards, dear listener. Thames Valley Police dumped a vulnerable woman outside a Travelodge, according to her lawyer. The force refuses to discuss the case, but says if Pamela Turkey has a complaint about her treatment, she should go through the correct channels. Well, they'd picked up the 39-year-old in Milton Keynes. She was confused, and she doesn't speak English. It later emerged she'd been being held as a domestic slave for 4.5 years, a fact her lawyer says would never have been revealed if it hadn't been for hotel manager Trudy Tuff. Sadly, now is it Trudy? Catherine, I need you for a second. Sorry, more important than that.
Thanks, Mike. Just a second.
Is it Trudy we were going to speak to, or the lawyer?
Sorry, go.
Is it Trudy we were going to speak
Yes,
to, or
it was
the lawyer?
Trudy.
It was Trudy, the hotel manager, and now the Travelodge has said that she can't come on.
She
and
got
speak.
a phone call at 11 o'clock last night saying that she shouldn't speak to us.
Well, that's
she was
a
really
shame.
up for it because there's a lot she wants to say.
That's such a shame because Travelodge do not in any way, from what I can tell from the story, come out bad in this.
In fact,
and Trudy comes out as a little bit of a hero.
A massive hero. If it hadn't been for her, none of this would have come out.
Really? Okay, really odd. And we'll investigate why. Very, very odd decision from Travelodge Press Department because... You guys haven't done anything wrong. Anyway, Trudy did have a lengthy conversation with our reporter, Tony Fisher, and Tony is on the line now. Morning, Tony.
Morning, Ian. Morning.
Odd decision by Travelodge, but you spoke to Trudy. What did she tell you? How did she come across Pamela?
Trudy Tuff, I tell you, it sounds like an amazing woman. She was the only independent witness at the court case, the tribunal. She describes how she was at the Travelodge in central Milton Keynes, where Pamela was, in her words, dumped, and in the lawyer's words, dumped outside. She describes her as a waif of a lady with a massive suitcase. Now, Pamela was told that Travelodge was full, but the one that Trudy manages in Old Trafford had a room, so Trudy took her there. And when she was speaking to her, she told me, sounds to me like she's a slave. She kept saying to me, Trudy, that is, sounds to me like she's a slave. The more Trudy spoke to her, she said, well, she had a bank card, so She helped her with her bank card, and Pamela had memorised 4 numbers that she'd overheard her employers talking about, the Chandocs, and she'd written them down, these numbers, on a piece of paper. Turns out these numbers were her PIN number, so they went to the bank and got some money out. There wasn't very much money in the bank. There was about, according to the court documents, just over £1,400. So she'd done 4.5 years' work. There was £1,400 in her bank. So she started crying. So Trudy, Good Samaritan, thought, well, what do we do now? She went to the Milton Keynes Council, and they checked her passport, said basically she's not entitled to any benefits or accommodation, nothing. And Trudy kept saying to me, well, she's an innocent, and she couldn't believe that she'd been in the country for such a long time. So Trudy got hold of this charity, who we're going to speak to at 8 o'clock, called the Iain charity.
Yeah, now, I hadn't heard of these. These, I've literally just Googled it. They help people, let me get the little screen, a small London-based charity which provides practical advice and support for the rights of migrants and migrant workers. How did Trudy even know of this charity?
Well, that I'm not sure. I think she must have done a research or got some information from the council. Anyway, she used the council phone to ring this charity, and then luckily there was someone in the council who'd only just been recently employed who spoke Hindi, which was the same language as Pamela. So anyway, Trudy basically arranged for Pamela to go to London to meet the people from this charity. She got the person at the council who spoke Hindi to explain to Pamela what was going to happen. Then Trudy took her home, cooked her some food, took her to the train station, and she put her on a direct train to Euston, gave her very specific instructions, and told her exactly where to go. And, obviously contacted the charity, made sure that she was going to actually reach them. And later on that day, she got a call from the charity, and in her words, she said, "We've got her."
Fantastic.
So the charity then took hold from that point on in 2012. And I think from that point on, it all snowballed. And the case happened, and as we found out last week, she's been awarded over £180,000 in compensation. So it's quite a story. And as Catherine says, if it hadn't been for this Good Samaritan, Trudy Tuff, who is a manager at Travelodge in Milton Keynes, who knows what would have happened?
Well, such an odd decision.
With a huge suitcase.
Well, exactly, and this is the complaint that's being made, is that the police dumped her there with no help. An odd decision, I think, for Travelodge. They've obviously got their reasons to stop Trudy speaking to us, and we'll have a look into that.
It's very strange, because I spoke to the press office. They rang me yesterday, and I said, look, I didn't go through you because this has nothing to do with Travelodge per se.
Yeah.
This is to do with Trudy Tuff, the manager, and the press office said, yes, I agree. So I thought, right, that's brilliant. We've got no problems with the press office. I get an email at 11 o'clock last night informing me that Trudy Tuff won't be doing the interview with us this morning.
And isn't it weird, because Trudy is obviously went above and beyond. What genuinely a hero, and I would have thought Travelodge would have been trumpeting the fact they got staff like that are amazing people. Well done, Trudy. And how lucky of this woman to end up on Trudy's doorstep to have someone like that help her. Tony, I appreciate you coming on and filling in the blanks. Before I let you go, you're doing the big interview this week, I think, with Nick Kershaw. Is that correct? We all got an email. Justin Dealey, may God bless him. He's not very well, and I had a little textage with Justin last night. Get well soon, Justin. Hopefully next week he's going to be back, but he's a little bit poorly. And an email, it's the best email I've ever seen on the internal email system, was sent out yesterday from Liz.
Yeah.
I've booked a studio for Tony Fisher at midday on the 3rd of October. He's recording an interview with Nick Kershaw on behalf of Justin. Now, it's a strange pairing, you and Nick Kershaw. What are you going to ask him, Tone?
I've been told what to ask him.
Oh, they're not letting you go free range?
Not free range chicken, no. But I will. I'll spread my wings and I'll just go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
This could be your big break.
So it'll be fine.
This could be your big break. You could make the move into music radio.
Yeah, Nick Kershaw. Yeah.
What was his big hit?
What was his band again?
Thank you, Tony. See you later. Ta-ta.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 towards London, it's busy at Junction 9 from Redbourne, and now it's slow on the approach to that as well. The A5 is busy southbound from Lynch Hill towards the M1 at Junction 9. On the M25, it's slow anti-clockwise from Junction 21 for the M1 to 19 for the A41 at Watford. And it's also looking very slow on the speed sensors around the M25 Junction 21A roundabout and southbound on the A10 from College Road towards the M25 at Junction 25 for Enfield. On the trains, the 7:20 service from Hertford North to Moorgate is delayed. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sammy. We're all looking forward to the Tony Fisher interviews Nick Kershaw. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate you coming on and explaining that story for us. 7:16. It's Wednesday, the 30th September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. The go-ahead's been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplants. And in last night's football, there were wins for Wycombe and Luton, but defeat for Stevenage Steves.
We've had a brilliant summer of cricket.
That's Edson Court, it's all over.
But once again, we're also celebrating our unsung sporting heroes.
He has such passion for sport. I'm extremely proud of what we've achieved here.
Who will you nominate? We're looking for someone who inspires people to get involved in sport across beds, hearts and bucks.
He's funny, he's never strict with you, so you don't feel pressured.
To make your nominations, go to bbc.co.uk/unsung hero and download an entry form. The closing date is Thursday, 22nd of October, with our 2015 Unsung Hero announced at the BBC Sports Personality of the Year in December.
She cares about everyone else more than she does about herself.
Get inspired, get nominating.
Doesn't Trudy sound amazing? Doesn't she sound amazing?
So good. And if I ran a company, that's exactly the sort of image I'd like to project.
Maybe Travelodge don't want to in this day when many people are wary of migrants and chancers. Maybe they don't want to promote the image of being a place where chancers can just turn up and get help by the management. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But the Travelodge, you should be literally. Someone should go to where Trudy works today for handsome, buff young men, and they should have like a throne that you carry, a sedan chair. Is that what's?
Yes.
They should have a sedan chair. They should put a crown on her, sit her on the sedan chair, whether she wants to or not, and parade her around, and then give her a few quid as well to say well done. That's what I would suggest. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. Who's that? Fifi, do you want to read Fifi's text? Have you got that?
Yeah, let's have a look.
We're asking what's in your car, guys. What's in your car? She's got a lot.
Fifi in her... Hang on. Where is Fifi's text?
About 3 down, I can see. I'll read it then.
Hang on, got it. In my car right now, set of disco lights, a smoke machine, a Minion, a jar of decent coffee because the one at work is awful, a box full of dressing up clothes, and most probably a dried up banana skin.
Well, first of all, the dried up banana skin, are you hoping to smoke that? Secondly, what kind of dressing up clothes are they? Are they for parties or are they for parties? A party in the bedroom.
I've given my cleaners an eyeful recently.
There's
a dressing up
Go on,
outfit.
clean that, the Eiffel Tower.
There's a dressing up outfit hanging on the back of my bedroom door,
Yeah.
which I'm sure they think is being used for a lot more fun purposes than it will be.
Cheeky, and what is it?
Well.
Oh, hang on a minute, we stumbled. What is it?
It's a Marie Antoinette costume.
Yeah.
It's a really short one.
Off with their heads.
Well.
Minion, of course, everyone's got if you've got children, you'll have Minions in your car. That goes without saying. The thing I get from Fifi is she's tight, really tight, because she's got the posh coffee in the car.
She's keeping it in the car.
She's keeping it in the car. So she gets a posh coffee, and if any of her workmates see her fingering her coffee, then they'll get one, but she's keeping it to herself, tight.
Yeah.
Mean.
A little bit, yeah.
Very, very mean. Very mean. Very mean person. Good to know we've got mean listeners. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Now, people illegally subletting in Aylesbury Vale are being given the chance to hand in their keys and avoid jail. The Vale of Aylesbury Housing Trust is holding an amnesty from tomorrow to reduce the number of tenancy fraud cases. Katrina Robinson is chair of the Tenancy Fraud Forum and joins me now. Morning, Katrina.
Good morning, Ian.
Is this going to make a difference?
It will make a difference. Generally speaking, housing associations and local authorities don't get back a whole bunch of properties when people have amnesties, but what it does is it raises awareness. So even if you only get back 3 or 4 properties, that, of course, makes a difference to people who have been on the housing waiting list for a very long time.
How many do you reckon? How many illegal lets or sublets or whatever do you reckon there are in Aylesbury Vale?
Generally speaking, the problem tends to be more prevalent in the larger cities, for example, like Birmingham or London. But with my work with the Tenancy Fraud Forum, it's quite clear that there are a significant number of properties sublet across the whole country. And generally speaking, the Tenancy Fraud Forum estimate that around 17% of housing stock across the whole country is subject to tenancy fraud.
So how long does it go on for, and why should these people who are breaking the law get off with it?
Well, you're absolutely right. Why should they get off with it? But of course, the good thing about the amnesties is that, again, it raises awareness. And when the amnesty has run out, then because awareness has been raised and more referrals will be coming in to people like the Vale of Aylesbury Housing Trust, then they will be able to get properties back and take criminal or civil action against those people.
But you're not going to take people against the people that come forward in the amnesty, so why should they get away with it?
Because it does, as I say, raise awareness. If the amnesty wasn't in place, then it might have been something that's been sublet for such a long time that it'd be very, very difficult to find the evidence to get the property back. The most important thing is to get vacant possession of the properties and to give those to people that have been desperately in need of housing and to form communities.
Is it because you haven't got a clue who's doing this or where it's going on? Because if you did, then the old bill will go around. You're kind of whistling in the dark here, aren't you?
Well, it is a criminal offence. The local authorities are the people who prosecute for themselves and on behalf of housing associations. It is difficult at this stage to get the police involved with it, it must be said. Because the local authorities are the prosecuting bodies.
But the local authorities don't have any idea how many properties this involves, how many people this involves, or indeed where they are, because they would go and prosecute.
Well, they would, and they do. But in the case of amnesties, if one person comes forward and gives back one property, one hopes that at least 100, 200 people will then think, oh, this is subletting, this isn't on, I know someone else is doing it. Most of our members who are social landlords, when they've had amnesties, they had few properties returned to them, but then they noticed a very, very big increase in referrals after the amnesty was finished.
What do you mean referrals? But people saying, I think something's going on next door? Yeah. So again, that confirms what I was saying, that the local authorities, housing authorities, they don't know. They don't know. They are entirely dependent on people phoning up and dobbing in their neighbours, because they haven't got a clue.
Not entirely dependent. We find out about subletting for a whole bunch of reasons. People making housing benefit claims who aren't the tenants, housing officers going round, people doing the gas checks thinking that's not quite right. There's locks on all the bedroom doors. So there's a whole range of reasons. The police tell us if they go around for antisocial behaviour reasons. So there's a number of ways. Amnesties are just one of those ways that we increase the number of referrals that come.
Okay. But again, I'm sorry to push this point, but
okay.
You seem to keep dodging it. The councils don't have a clue unless someone else tells them. And that's kind of the beauty of this crime, isn't it?
But the someone else could be someone who's employed by the local authority. I mean, of course they wouldn't know. The police wouldn't have a clue if somebody was smoking drugs in a property unless they happened to go around there or somebody told them. Our housing officers and the Vale of Aylesbury Housing Trust housing officers will go around and think, well, I don't recognise this person. So, as I say, there's a number of ways that we find out about subletting.
What about the people who are subletting and don't realise that they're doing anything illegal?
You mean the subtenants?
Yeah.
The subtenants, well, they're not the ones who are subject to a criminal offence, of course. The people who move into a property and sublet it to a social landlord's tenant are not committing a criminal offence. And often they will lose their deposits. They'll be turfed out at short notice when the plot is uncovered. So it's very unfortunate for them, it must be said. Most social landlords will give those people advice and guidance about what to do.
What happens to those residents? Because I'm assuming that they are. Where are they supposed to go?
Well, if they have a need for social housing, then they would go to the local authority who would rehouse them.
Well, eventually, because we know that ain't working at the moment because there's not enough social houses. So these poor innocent people. Who are, that just want somewhere to live that is affordable, they're not going to get somewhere to live that's affordable.
Well, what they would have to do would be go and rent on the open market. But
Which is unaffordable for a significant number of people, obviously.
But people who sublet their properties at a market rent. They don't sublet them at the cheaper rent. So, for example, if we rented one of our properties to somebody in Kensington and Chelsea for £100 a week, it would be sublet for anything for £600 a week upwards.
but it's often, as you said, it's often just rooms that are rented, which are much more affordable than flats, aren't they?
No, it's not. Subletting means it's the entire property that's been sublet.
Yeah, but you could sublet a room. You say you've got 3 rooms. You could sublet those 3 rooms to 3 different families.
Yes, but the rent
which would be more affordable than renting a whole flat.
Yes, but the rent that those people would be paying would be the same rent that they would be paying if they rented a room legally through another landlord who was a bona fide landlord. So what I'm saying is that people who are unfortunate enough to be caught up in the sublet trap will be paying the same amount of money to the social landlord's tenant as they would if they rented.
Well, even if a 3-bedroom property has got 4 or 5 families in, because they often they kind of double up, or they use rooms that aren't bedrooms, so they will be renting out more rooms than they actually have.
That's actually not our experience. It tends to be that houses or flats are let out to individual families.
I just wonder why you mentioned locks on different doors. Then what was that a reference to?
Well, that does happen.
Exactly. That's the point I'm making. It does happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it does happen, but I say it's rare. That's just one of the things that we notice. When one of the tips. There's quite a few others as well.
Okay. Well, it's housing is a massive problem. Let's hope everybody gets what they need. Katrina, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. Thanks for kind of kicking it around with me. Katrina Robinson, chair of the Tenancy Fraud Forum. 03 459 455 555 is the telephone number. 81333. Start your text 3CR if you want to. Cliff Richard is giving it large, isn't it?
He's back in action.
He's back in action. Now, the Sun. Okay, the Sun has got a... if you want to do a Cliff pun, careful. You can do. This Cliff pun doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. Well, it makes sense, but it doesn't work, right? First Night Review by Ali Farrell, showbiz reporter. So Cliff Richard got a 1-minute standing ovation last night before his first UK performance since he was quizzed over child sex claims. The congratulations singer put on a cheesy show at the Symphony Hall in Birmingham in a glittering silver blazer and matching shoes.
Okay, fair enough.
After a rendition of new ballad Golden, he awkwardly shook his hips to a cover of Chuck Berry's Roll Over Beethoven. Cliff, who is 75 next month, looked frail and coughed regularly between songs. He revealed he'd been in the US a lot recently, saying, kind of anonymous over there, Oh, it's Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
It's funny, as I've always had an inkling to be a celebrity in America. Well, that ain't going to happen. So the headline is, right, Congratovation.
Oh, wow.
Congratovation.
I would call it Missed You Night.
Oh, there we go. We can do Cliff puns. Tread carefully, for crying out loud.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's very busy on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. It's also very slow in Brookett Wood at the M25 junction 21A roundabout, and the A10 southbound in Chesson is slow as well, approaching the M25 at junction 25 for Enfield. In Blackthorn on the A41 there is queues in both directions at the railway bridge on the border of Buckinghamshire. So because of the roadworks there, the temporary traffic lights at Heath Bridge near Blackstone's Arm are stuck on red, so it's causing delays both ways. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. The go-ahead's been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplants, and people illegally subletting in Aylesbury Vale are being told to hand in their keys and avoid jail.
Three Counties Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Wycombe are top of League Two after beating 10-man Cambridge 1-0 at Adams Park. Michael Harriman scored the winner after Gary Thompson had missed a penalty. Here's manager Gareth Ainsworth.
I thought they really deserved that tonight. It wasn't a game that hinged on a red card for me. It was a game that we were knocking on the door, even in the first half, for the last 20 minutes of the first half, knocking on the door, kept knocking on the door, and eventually, we managed to open it, albeit a fantastic strike from Michael Harriman. But I thought we had many chances, and the scoreline probably could have been a bit more for us.
Luton are up to 11th after a third successive win, 3-1 at Morecambe. Luke Wilkinson, Cameron McGeehan and Jonathan Smith scored for John Still's side.
We lack at the start of the season is sharpness, because the work we do is heavy. And when we put the power to that, the longer the season goes, we're going to need the power. I'm really, hopeful that we'll have a good season this season. But it's still a long way to go. We've done okay today. I'm not getting over the top with it, but we've played well. We've played well and we've won well. So.
But Stevenage remained 20th after a third successive defeat. Teddy Sheringham's side lost 2-0 at home to Mansfield.
Very happy with my squad that I've got. I have been saying all along that I would like to add one or two, and that is still the same. But in the majority, I'm still quite optimistic and still quite pleased with what I've got.
In the Champions League, there were defeats for both Chelsea and Arsenal. Chelsea lost 2-1 away to Porto, whilst Arsenal lost for the second time 3-2 at home to Olympiacos. Here's manager Arsene Wenger.
It leaves us in a bad position, but we are still in it. We have to, of course, think that we can deal with Zagreb and with Olympiacos, even away from home. And we have to make a result in our next game against Bayern at home. But we are not out of it.
Tonight, Manchester City visit Borussia Mönchengladbach, with Manchester United at home to another German side, Wolfsburg. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
I woke up this morning and everything was different. Something was strange in the air. I woke up this morning and everything was different. I knew that the ninjas had been there. I looked all around my bedroom, underneath the dresser, behind the bed, but nothing could be found. There was nothing left behind them, no way that I could find them. No fingerprints or crumbs on the ground. The ninjas are deadly and silent. They're also unspeakably violent. They speak Japanese, they do whatever they please, and sometimes they vacation in Ireland. The ninjas are deadly and silent. They're also unspeakably violent. They speak Japanese, they do whatever they please, and if you tear off their masks, they'll be smiling.
It's a true story. Morning, Irene.
Good morning, Ian.
Good morning, my darling. How are you?
All right. Did you go to your Squeeze concert last night?
I did not go to my Squeeze concert last night, unfortunately. In fact, get me Paul Scoins on the telephone, because I had other business I had to attend to, Irene. So instead...
Right. So you didn't get there.
I didn't get there, but Paul Scoins, the BBC... You know who Paul Scoins is, do you?
Yeah.
He's,
I know you all.
Yeah. Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Who's your favourite, then?
Well, my favourite, he's not around no more, but...
You could say, well, OK, you can say that. Who do you cling to from the glory days of Three Counties?
Justin. I like you.
Justin Dealey?
Yeah.
He's not dead?
No, he's not. No, the other one, Martin.
Martin Coote?
Yeah.
Cootesy?
And Toby.
Toby Friedner?
Yeah.
He's in the office all the time.
I know he's still around here.
Toby Friedner is your favourite presenter on BBC Three Counties Radio?
Well, he came to my house because I was Three Counties hero.
What did you do to be a Three Counties hero? I missed this. Go on.
Charity work. They will know. Justin will know.
No, flip it. If Justin ever recovers, and fingers crossed, although he has, I noticed he's hired the services of a witch doctor, so I'm guessing things, are looking pretty.
Don't be rude.
That's good. Anyway, Irene, what you got for us?
You just had somebody on about the housing and about what they do.
Yes, we did.
Now, the council council and housing associations, they are all wrong.
Oh.
And it's wrong what they said to you. They do not check I lived in Thurston, and next door, I lived in a bungalow, and
yes,
there was a bungalow next to me, and then a house. And first of all, there was one foreign gentleman moved into the house.
Yeah.
And then the next minute, there were 6 people, and they caused a lot of problem, as well as drugs and everything else.
Yes.
You tell the Housing Association they didn't want to know. Big troubles happened there.
Big trouble, Little China.
They
weren't Chinese, were they?
I would say big troubles because the one drug person, he had ammunition and he had...
He what? Ammunition?
You know what I would say.
What, guns?
Anyway, because of that, I told them and asked them to sort it out. No, Housing Association didn't. In the end, I had to move to where I am now after 14 years because nothing was done.
Yep. It doesn't...
came, took one person away, brought them back.
Yeah.
Took them away, put them back.
Here's a question for you, Irene.
What's that?
What's the point of Bruce Springsteen?
What's the point of him?
Yeah.
I personally don't like
No,
him.
nor do I. I don't get it. I don't get the growl. You know, he's literally 4'7".
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's true.
You won't see me.
Well,
I'm not very tall now.
Well, but maybe you and Springsteen should get together and be lovers. Stay there a second. Paul Scoins.
No,
Morning. Hello.
Paul, say hello to Irene.
Hello, Irene.
Hi, darling.
How are you?
You're not one of her favourites, Paul. Her favourite presenter at BBC Three Counties Radio is Toby Friedner.
Oh, no, I like all of you.
Who can blame her? It's a great choice.
It is
I like all of you.
Where would you
to choose from?
If you listen, I want you to rank Paul Scoins for me, right? I want you to rank him for me, right? Rank him and be hard.
Oh, I like his voice.
Right. Well,
in the top 20 of people who appear on Three Counties Radio, Irene, where would you put Paul Scoins?
In the top 20, about 10.
I'll take that. Thanks.
Yeah, that's better than I all thought.
Justin, Toby, Big George used to be there.
Yeah. Oh, be lovely, Big George.
Going back quite well.
You are old, aren't you?
Yeah. You want to celebrate my birthday next month?
What, you invited me to a private party?
No.
I'll bring a succession of wigs and we can dress up and have fun until the sun rises. Now, Paul, you went to my Squeeze concert last night.
I did, yeah.
And Irene wants to know, was it any good?
It was great. Yeah, it was brilliant. They were wonderful. I'm very, very glad I went. It was about just over 2 hours, and it was excellent. It was a fully charged set. You know, they were clearly enjoying themselves. You know,
Paul? Did you actually go? Because you're doing that thing when, all your mates at school have been allowed to stay up to watch Enter the Dragon, right? But your mum and dad haven't let you watch Enter. No, you're going to bed. Oh, Mum! And then the next day at school, everyone's talking about Enter the Dragon, right? Oh, and it was brilliant, right? When he takes his hand off and he puts on the metal claw, right? And he just scratches and he's in the Hall of Mirrors, and you're stood there going, "Yeah, I like." What was your favourite bit, Paul? I like the fight. I like the bit when he did the kick. That's what it sounds like. Give me a specific thing that happened.
Paul Young got up on stage.
What?
And did a
with a gun. Paul Young got up on stage with a gun at a Squeeze concert. This is breaking news. Did you hear that, Irene? Paul Young got boozed up and ran on stage with a gun, firing shots randomly into the audience.
Oh my God!
This is outrageous, Paul.
Oh,
it was shocking.
Luton's Paul Young, yes, local and vocal.
He was.
Well, at least they still keep going.
Well, at least they still kept going, Irene. But I bet Squeeze have never had Toby Friedner around their house.
No, I have.
I tell you what, Irene, and I know we've just woken you up, Paul, and you're a good sport, although you did get those tickets for free, so you kind of owe me.
Hang on, what?
Yeah. So, what we're going to do...
I've paid you that money, though.
Just to prove that you went there.
Oh, hang on, what?
Just to prove that you went there, Paul, could you do us a little favour?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome, singing Cool for Cats with Squeeze, it's Paul Scoins. You've missed the first... Right, we'll start again. Hang on a second. Milton Keynes, would you be loud and proud as we welcome to the stage Squeeze with new vocalist, Mr. Paul Scoins and Cool for Cats. Right, you don't know that song at all, do you?
No,
right.
I don't.
Okay, hang on a second. Okay, we're trying on it. Ladies and gentlemen of Milton Keynes, would you please welcome to the stage, with Squeeze, their new singer, Mr. Paul Scoins, as they sing the classic bedroom hit, Up the Junction.
Some stress and
How did you know this yesterday? And
Well,
now
do you know
today
what?
you don't know it.
I did exactly the same thing that they were doing last night. All of them they all had like laptops in front of them, and you thought, oh right, either they're bidding on eBay or they can't remember the names that they're of the songs they're singing.
So yesterday you were reading the lyrics of the song?
Yeah, mate.
Oh, I listened to you, Frank Sinatra. Catherine, you were right.
I told you he knew the words, but not the tune.
Can you believe that, Irene? Paul Scoins is a chancer.
I'm voting 20 now.
Sorry.
I knew the tune.
So you didn't know the bit where it goes.
Hang on, Irene. Has he dropped down your ranking now?
Yes.
What about number 15?
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you, Irene. Ta-ta.
Bye.
Thank you, Paul.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You were right, he was reading the words.
You could tell when he tried to take you to the bridge. This bit.
I'm gutted I couldn't go last night.
I wonder if they took the gig
No more
outside.
nights happy selling. I never thought it would happen. I don't know this song particularly well at all. I prefer what's the one where they've got the bendy guitars and they're in the same house that Lenny Henry filmed the advert for Smith Square Crisps. It's weird. That's, you know, the house where everything gets smaller?
Yeah.
That one. They filmed it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 03459 455 555 is the phone number. We've not mentioned Corbyn. I was a lovely afternoon yesterday. Sat in my back garden. It was very hot. Watching the dog run around and get on my nerves. I'm not a dog person, I've decided. So
It's a bit late now, isn't it?
No, it's not. I think you get like a year. I've listened to the Consumer Hour. You get a year, and you can just give it back and get some of the cash back as well, which would be awesome. So anyway, I sat in the back garden, listening to a bit of Corbyn. I thought I'd have a little listen to Corbyn. He was quite funny. He was making jokes and everything.
He seemed like a nice bloke, didn't he?
And I was having a little bit of discuss with local MP Gavin Shuker. Because Gavin Shuker, he never mentioned the whip. He didn't mention the whip when he said that you'd have to vote with what you're told to vote. Well, that's the whip. If you mention the whip, I know about the whip. Anyway. And I was hoping Gavin would answer the question, as I'm hoping all Labour MPs would answer. Which bit of Corbyn's ideas don't you like? Is it the getting respect for people with mental health issues? Is it helping people on lower wages? Is it helping people from unscrupulous landlords? Or is it the fact that he thinks we should have a discussion on spending £100 billion on a nuclear defence system? Which of those things does Gavin Shuker and the other MPs not like? Because, I mean, they all sounded all right to me. They all sounded all right to me.
There must be other bits he's not telling us.
There must be the bits about killing the babies that he didn't mention in the speech.
Eating puppies.
Maybe it was that bit about going up to cats and scraping their eyes out with spoons.
Oh.
Maybe it was that bit, because I would disagree with strongly. I would struggle to vote that one in.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a whip, I'd have to do it.
But then he says he's encouraging people to come forward with other options.
I'm not speaking about Gavin specifically, but all of the, I just think it's going to turn nasty, and I think that there are going to be smiling people with knives in their hand. They're just waiting for him to fail, and you know what? He probably won't last 6 months. He possibly won't last 6 months. I don't know. I just think if you're not sat at the top table, if you've got an invitation to sit at the top table or the kiddies table next door, because they have a kiddies table as well, if you've got the invitation and you choose not to accept that invitation, well then you can't be serious about change, because that's where you get to say, do you know what? I disagree with that, and here's why I disagree with it.
The thing is, as well, what adds strength to your arm in the argument is that Corbyn would have disagreed, and Corbyn would have voted with his conscience too. He's not going to force you to vote against it.
I struggle. Scott's, you're right, I should have reminded this to Eileen. Scott has tweeted me, you should remind Eileen that snitches get stitches and end up in ditches. So,
wow.
I mean, it's very, very true words. Thank you, Scott.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's busy on the A1 now southbound from the approaching the M25 from South Mims towards Stirling Corner. On the A40 Western Avenue, it's really busy at the Denham roundabout where it meets the M40 from the Hanger Lane gyratory. And on the A41, a bit further afield in Blackthorn, it's very slow over the railway bridge at the Heath Bridge in Blackstone Farm. On the M1 southbound, it's very slow between junction 12 for Flitwick and the junction 10 for Luton Airport where the roadworks are, and on the A1M southbound it's also looking busy there too on the speed sensors between junction 9 for Letchworth and 8 for Hitchin. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 7:45. It's a Wednesday, the 30th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. The go-ahead has been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplant. And in last night's football, there were wins for Wickham and Luton, but defeat for Stevenage. Let's get the weather.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Blue sky and sunshine across all three counties. High pressure continues to dominate. It's going to be nice and warm this afternoon as well, accompanied, however, by a brisk easterly breeze. But the temperature doesn't really reflect at 18 Celsius, so still feeling really nice through the afternoon. Overnight, dry and clear. The wind eases down again overnight, so again, few mist and fog patches for tomorrow morning. Minimum temperature 8 Celsius, and tomorrow, more of the same. Long spells of sunshine. The wind a bit lighter, so it's going to feel a bit warmer. And that's your forecast.
Cheers, my dears.
On BBC 4. Starting in the 70s, a countercultural movement changed the way music was made forever.
It was a statement, this is what I want to do, and a lot of bands just put their own records out without even a record deal.
From grassroots beginnings, a new DIY approach to making and sharing music gave rise to a whole new genre, indie. It was such a fantastic distribution system. It wasn't just a sound, but an attitude and an ethos.
It felt like it spoke to you, and it felt homemade.
Music for Misfits, the story of indie with Mark Radcliffe, starts Friday at 10 on BBC 4.
What's the matter?
What's
that noise for?
I'm really tired. And I've got the kids today, and I'm just like, oh.
Welcome to my world.
It's relentless. You can, if anyone could phone in and pick the holes in Corbyn's speech yesterday, because I thought he sounded passionate, I thought he sounded intelligent, he sounded relaxed. A couple of the jokes died on their backsides.
He's not a comedian, though, is he?
He's not a comedian. Just tell me, I didn't hear all of the speech, okay? I think I missed the first, it went off about an hour. I think I missed the first half an hour of it. But if you can phone in and tell me what from Jeremy Corbyn's speech yesterday makes you think, yeah, do you know what? I'm right. He's a complete and utter twit. That guy's dangerous. Which bit is dangerous? I didn't get the dangerous bit. The wanting to have a discussion about spending £100 billion on Trident. £100 billion. We're right to have the discussion, aren't we, about it? Aren't we? What bit was dangerous? Was it the bit where he praised a small group of protesters and organisations that got that fella out of Guantanamo Bay? Was it that bit? Was it the bit when he was praising some smaller organisations that help people escape persecution in other countries? Was it that bit? Was it the bit where he said he wants to get rid of the stigma of mental health? Was it that? I honestly, I'm sat there going, right, where's the bit where I'm supposed to think he's dangerous? No, can't hear it. Where's the bit where he's having a pop at... was it the bit where he's having a pop at David Cameron for supporting the Saudi regime, where we make lots of money because we sell them weapons, and yet they do atrocious things to people? Was it that bit? I don't know. 03459 455 555. Can you phone up and explain to me from Corbyn's speech yesterday, where's the bit where I'm supposed to hug my children close to me and say, "Don't worry, kids, he won't get in. We'll make sure of it. We'll vote. We'll make sure. We'll encourage all those Labour MPs to stab him in the back, kids. Don't worry. The old man's not going to get it." Where was that bit? I didn't hear it. 03459 455 555. Are you more or less likely to volunteer depending on where you live? The manager of the Salvation Army in the Marlows in Hemel says she's struggling to attract volunteers in the town. That's despite having to turn people away from helping out at the other store in Leighton Buzzard. Tracy Beaumont is the manager of the Hemel and the Leighton Buzzard stores and joins me now. Morning, Tracy.
Morning.
So
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Do we extract from this that people in Leighton Buzzard are nice and people in Hemel are not nice?
Oh, well, no.
Okay.
Obviously, I wouldn't want to put my hands up and say that because this is a desperate plea for all the nice people in Hemel Hempstead.
So what's going on? Right, so let's start with the Leighton Buzzard store. You got too many people wanting to come and help there.
I've got an absolute army of dedicated volunteers that come in, day out, week in, week out for the whole year, and they are fantastic. In Hemel, I've had volunteer open days, I've had bits in the press, and for some reason or another, I've got two lovely volunteers that have been with me since I opened a year ago, and their dedication is fantastic. But it's just a small portion of the amount of hours the shop is open.
So, I guess, any reason? Have you come to any conclusion why that's the case in Hemel?
I can't. No, I can't fathom it at all. I really can't, and it's such a shame.
Okay, well, tell us what the job in inverted commas requires. What do you need people to do? Because there might be some people listening in Hemel now or nearby who think, "Oh, hang on a minute, I've got a few hours a week I can help out." What do you need from people?
Well, we ask for a minimum commitment of 4 hours per week.
Okay.
And the jobs are varied. Till cover is excellent if people want to improve their customer care skills.
Yes.
There's obviously all the donations we have come in, they need to be sorted.
First dibs.
And processed and ready for going sale onto the shop floor.
Yeah.
I'd love somebody who's really a bookworm that to keep on top of my books and keep them in alphabetical order, etc. And it's just really coming in, helping out, you know, having a cup of tea, a chat, and socialisation as well, really.
Tracy, can I just ask just 1 second? Just be quiet for 1 second. What the hell is going on in the background there?
That's my dog, sorry, with her squeaky toy.
Oh, is it a squeak? Because I thought I could hear a load of canaries or something. She's got a squeak.
Close the door.
What? No, don't worry. It's good. What dog have you got?
She's a Heinz 57.
There we go. Okay, well, she's having a good sweat. All right, fine. So listen, if people are listening and going, yeah, I can do some of that, and I've always sort of thought it'd be what a cool job to be that person that sits in the back room and gets to rifle through all the records and the books. How do they get in touch, Tracy?
Come in store, and we've got a small application form to fill in. It's nothing complicated at all. And especially young people that are maybe looking to do their Duke of Edinburgh Award.
Yeah, it all counts.
Yes, it does. Young people with volunteering on their CV are much likely to go higher on the pile than young people without any volunteering experience. That's the proven
Tracy,
fact.
listen, let us know how it goes. It's the Salvation Army in the Marlows in Hemel. Just rock up there and try and have a word with Tracy, and if you can help out, that would be awesome. I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Tracy, and you. Fingers crossed. Craig, new texter, bias BBC. No bias. No, well, maybe there is. I don't think there is any bias. I'm just trying to work out, if you read the narrative of the majority of the newspapers, if the narrative of the newspapers and the Tory party since Corbyn has been elected is that he's dangerous, he's a threat to my kids. And I just listened to the speech, Craig. I'm guessing maybe you didn't. I couldn't find the bit in the speech that made me think, oh, my poor children. We've got to stop this man. I didn't hear it. I just heard a bloke that was passionate about things and he wanted to help people. Craig, 0345. Can we give Craig a call? Give Craig a call and see if he'll...
No, he's tweeted. I haven't got his number.
Oh, is it a tweet?
Yeah.
No, it's a tweet. I thought it was a text. Sorry, the way the system's... All right, well, Craig, give us a call. 03459 455 555 and let us know... Which bit, Peter? Morning, Peter, by the way.
Good morning.
Which bit of the speech yesterday made you think, oh, the poor children of the world, they're all doomed?
Well, I've been embarrassed, if you like, by the media, really.
Oh, go on.
They've attacked his shirt, his tie, his voice, his suit, his jacket, ill-fitting jacket. Yeah. You name it, they've attacked him. Now, I think that's a real embarrassment to the media.
Yeah.
They are saying
They've been
things
attacking
about-
him. They've been attacking him for who he had sex with in the 1970s.
Oh, but that's right. But I mean, this is worse. This is much, much worse. Because if you look, all that's happened there is the Labour Party has moved to the left. When they moved to the right and removed the left, no one said anything.
Hang on, when they removed to the right and removed... Oh, yeah, I said... Well, the Blair.
Removed
To
the
Blair.
left.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lost the left, if you like.
Yeah.
Then no one said a word. The newspapers, the reporters, you hear it. The bias even in the media, the programmes, the bias in some of the reporting is so bad, they don't realise they're doing it.
Well, it does. I think they do realise that they're doing it. It does. Hello?
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 Yeah.
Hello?
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 I'm here.
Hello?
I'm here.
Hello?
Oh, you can hear me because I can hear the radio.
All right, Poirot. The reporting on Corbyn does seem to have sunk to a new level. You're right. It's attacks about what he looks like and stuff like that.
Low. It is so low. There's a small snake they can crawl under sometimes.
Yeah, well, Peter, I didn't get that last point, but thank you very much indeed. I'm just moving on. 03459 455 555 because I want to squeeze Josh in. Morning, Josh.
Morning, Ian.
What you got for us, boss?
Terrible films, but with awful actors, but with terrible.
Oh yeah,
films.
I watched. Have you seen The Cube?
I know about it. I know
enough good. It's a brilliant film, but it's such a good premise. But the acting in it is atrocious. I mean, awful.
This film tops it. I'll tell you.
Go on.
It's a film called The Room. Have you heard of it?
No, I've not heard of The Room. Go on. What's it?
Right.
I'm
So
in.
it's an absolute anomaly of a film. There's a guy called Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau.
He directed it. He starred in it. He wrote it. He did everything.
Yeah.
He is the weirdest bloke ever to existed.
Yeah.
People think he's an android.
Yeah.
He's that odd.
I'm on IMDb. Yeah. It gets 3.5 on IMDb.
It should be a 10. It is that good. It
Go
is
on.
Brilliant. It's the basic plot is a love triangle. That's as basic as you can get. But the whole thing is just a convoluted mess. Tommy, no one knows where he's from, and he's got these American ideals in his head.
Yeah.
And he thinks everyone in America plays American football. He thinks they all go out for coffee. So each scene in the film, it's like they took the whole film and put it in a blender. And when they took the bits of the blender out, that was the film. It's an absolute mess, but it's brilliant.
He looks like a melted version of Gene Simmons from Kiss.
You need to hear his voice. His voice is the weirdest thing you've ever heard.
Man, now Josh, listen. This film is. I'm looking. It's 99 minutes long. Are you sure? You're sure you're not winding me up?
I'm telling you, Ian. If you watch it, you'll have a phone in tomorrow to see who's watched it, so you can talk about it.
All right. Well, we can have the phone in. Josh, I'm going to look at that. Maybe not today because I've got the kids, but maybe tomorrow. I'll want to settle down. 03459 455 555. If you've ever seen The Room, you can let me know about that. But also, good films where the acting is absolutely atrocious. 03459 455 555. BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the trav.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1, it's slow southbound between junction 12 for Flitwick and 10 for Luton Airport through the roadworks. And the A1M is also very busy around junction 9 for Letchworth to 8 for Hitchin. On the M25, it's slow now anti-clockwise around junction 19 for Watford. And the A40 Western Avenue, that's very busy at the M40 at the Denham roundabout. On the A41 in both directions between Kingswood and Launton coming out of Aylesbury towards Bicester, it's very, very slow there. There are queues in both directions at the railway bridge where the traffic lights are stuck on red. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. I love it when the traffic lights are stuck on red. And I'm the first person to drive through. It's like, do you know what? I've done the maths. These lights are never going to change. I'm going through. And everyone's like, it's going to go through. And I love it. And I go through it. It doesn't beat, of course, when you approach a very busy junction and the traffic lights are broken. Lanarche! 03459 455 555. What part of Corbyn's speech made you terrified? We'll talk more after the news with Simon.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. The headlines claim that woman slave was left by police at Milton Keynes Hotel. Go ahead for UK womb transplants. And wins for Wickham and Luton, defeat for Stevenage.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. 39-year-old Pamela Turkey went on to take legal action against her employers and was awarded £180,000 in compensation. Thames Valley Police say they take safeguarding very seriously but won't comment on the case specifically. Victoria Marks, a solicitor with the Anti-Trafficking and Labour Exploitation Unit, says the police got involved after the family tried to stop the woman leaving.
They chased after her and tried to stop her. That was when the police came involved, and the police dumped her at a Travelodge hotel where a Good Samaritan met her and helped her find her way to Callyanne.
Doctors have been given the go-ahead to attempt the first womb transplants in the UK. The procedure will be carried out on 10 women. If it's successful, the first British babies born from donor wombs could be delivered in 2017. David Cameron has announced that £25 million of foreign aid will be used to help build a new prison in Jamaica. It will be used to house Jamaican inmates currently detained in the UK. People illegally subletting in Aylesbury Vale are being told to hand in their keys and avoid jail. The one-month amnesty is being held from tomorrow to tackle tenancy fraud. More from Jessica Cooper.
The Vale of Aylesbury Housing Trust says it's taking a bold step to tackle this problem, to send a strong message to criminals. Housing fraud can lead to a fine of up to £5,000 or prison for up to 2 years. Tenants must hand in their keys, make sure the property's empty and there's no rent to pay. The problem is estimated to have cost councils and housing associations close to £2 billion in 2013.
An investigation is continuing into the cause of a fire that badly damaged part of a Hertfordshire private school. A boarding house at Bishop Stortford College caught fire in the early hours of yesterday morning. More than 60 pupils and staff were evacuated. The Information Commissioner has slapped a record £200,000 fine on a solar energy company which bombarded the public with millions of nuisance calls. The campaign was said to have made people's lives a misery. In sport, Wickham are top of League Two after beating 10-man Cambridge at Adams Park.
Falls to Harriman. What a goal! What a goal by Wickham Wanderers. It's Michael Harriman. A right-footed half volley from 25 yards. Better with no chance. It's a top corner. Wickham Wanderers 1, Cambridge United 0.
Luton are up to 11th after a third successive win, 3-1 at Morecambe, with goals from Luke Wilkinson, Cameron McGeehan and Jonathan Smith. But Stevenage remain 20th after a third successive defeat. Teddy Sheringham's side lost 2-0 at home to Mansfield. The weather dry and sunny but breezy, a maximum temperature 18 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Busy show this morning, lots to talk about. So, which part of Corbyn's speech yesterday actually made you think, yeah, he is a threat to our security? For God's sakes, jobs and the country is in danger. Because I listened and I didn't hear it. I didn't hear the first half an hour. Maybe it was in that bit. I didn't hear the bit where I'm supposed to go, oh, he's a horrible socialist and we're all going to die. 03459 455 555. Loads of stories about Brits abroad in the papers as well. And we do, when we go abroad, there's something, we just generally act like complete and utter, I don't want to say dicks, but idiots. What do you want?
I would say yobs.
Yobs, that's it, thank you, yeah. We generally act terribly. I have been abroad so often and been embarrassed to see, well, you know, if you're seeing a topless fat bloke walking down the high street and he's bright red, you know he's British. What is it? Your Brits behaving badly stories, please. What's the point of ... We still haven't found a use for Bruce Springsteen. And what's in your car? 03459 455 555.
across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Here we go. Lee B and MK. This is a strange text. Morning, all. Iain, this is a little delayed, but the other day you said the Beatles were flawless. Did I actually use the word flawless? I said they were very good. They have flaws. So I went back and dedicated my weekend to familiarise myself with the foursome again. Well done you. What a great weekend. Love Me Do is one of the most boring songs ever written. Is that the best? You spent the whole weekend listening to the... Get this, Kels. You spent the whole weekend listening to the Beatles and the only boring track you could find was Love Me Do.
What plum?
Thank you. You're Plumley. Plumley. 034. Well, I'm glad you... Still, a nice way to spend a weekend. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. OK, onwards and upwards. Let me just click on this. There we go. The lawyer of a woman who'd been held as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was dumped at a Travelodge by police who should have protected her. The police picked up 39-year-old Pamela Turkey by chance. She was confused, doesn't speak English, and according to her brief, if it hadn't been for a good Samaritan who worked at the hotel, her story might never have been heard. As it was, she was able to get help from people like Catherine Kenny at a charity called Kalayan. Catherine joins me now. Morning, Catherine.
Good morning.
Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Kalayan.
Yeah, I was not far off. That'll do for this time of the morning. What does Kalayan do?
We work with migrant domestic workers in the UK, people that have come into the UK on a domestic worker visa. We provide basic legal advice on immigration and employment. We also provide a range of services such as a jobs notice board, English classes, helping them with the CV and other things. And we also campaign on the rights of domestic workers in the UK.
Now, Pamela was kind of being used as a slave. She's getting like an 11 pence an hour, and the people she was working for controlled her money. Do you come across many stories like that?
We do, unfortunately.
Gosh.
It's more common than you would like to hope. We certainly do. And, OK, maybe that's more at the extreme end, but certainly we do come across a lot of cases ranging from the more extreme abuse where the domestic worker will be hit and, slapped and made to sleep on the floor in the kitchen and maybe not be paid at all in some cases, and working really long hours, practically on call 24 hours, to cases where maybe they don't receive the minimum wage, but they're generally well treated. So the levels of abuse certainly range across from extreme to less extreme.
Those stories where people are treated incredibly badly. People can be working in those situations and working in the inverted commas for years. Why do they stay?
Well, often they don't know their rights. They're working in a private household is very isolating. So often they're not allowed out. They may come to the UK with little or no English. They may be working in a household where English is not spoken, though sometimes they can be working for UK employers as well. So they don't meet anybody. Often people find out about their rights in the workplace itself, sometimes through hearing from what other workers say. But in their case, obviously, they don't meet anybody else. They're not really allowed out. If they are allowed out, it's only with the employer or with the employer's family. They're told not to speak to anybody in the event that they're allowed to the local supermarket. So they often have no idea. They're coming from countries where there's little or no employment rights. So they assume that it's the same in the UK, and they just go on for years and years. And sometimes as well, they have families at home dependent on them, and they're even if they get paid a tiny amount, they don't want to risk losing that and being able to support their families in some way back in their home countries. So, and often there's a lot of fear of the employer, especially if the employer has come from their own country. They fear maybe the implications for themselves or their families back in their home country if they were to leave the employer.
I just think this is insane that this happens in Britain in 2015.
Yeah, a lot of people, it's kind of unimaginable. And there are, as I say, there are lots of cases like that, unfortunately.
Is it easy to prosecute the dodgepot employers that are putting people through this? How user-friendly is the legal system in cases like this?
It's not not very user friendly, and certainly the case that you mentioned, this very high profile case now, would not happen if this lady arrived in the UK today because of the changes in the law in 2012, which in effect ties domestic workers to their employers. They're not allowed to change employer, and they're not allowed to renew their visa. So if they leave the employer, they risk putting themselves in a situation where they become undocumented. So they either stay in abuse or become undocumented. So it's very difficult for those domestic workers to actually take any action against their employer. And even with people that are under the old system, cuts to legal aid, etc., have made it quite difficult for them to take action against.
And also,
their
if English isn't, they don't speak English particularly well or at all, they've got nowhere to go. The whole thing, the whole thing can be incredibly daunting.
Absolutely, it's very difficult, and if you're a domestic worker and you know that you have to stay with this employer, and you take the chance of running away because of the abuse, and you go to you're not going to go to a police station, you're not going to do the normal things that maybe other people will do because you're so afraid of being sent back.
How did you get involved with this charity, Catherine?
Well, I've worked in various, human rights organisations in the past, and I was working on a project in university on domestic workers, and came to it from that, basically.
Okay, it's fascinating stuff. If people want to find out more about you and the charity, where do they go?
They can contact us directly, and we often get approached by members of the public who are trying to help domestic workers. So certainly, if somebody has concerns about somebody that they believe is working in a domestic household but not treated very well, we are always happy to hear from them. Or more generally, if people want to find out about our work, we're a London-based charity. We're based in West London, but our telephone number is 0732942.
Hang on, do that again, because I got a bit confused. Go on, do it one more time.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. 02072432942.
Brilliant. All right, listen, keep up the good work. I really appreciate it. That's my microphone.
Okay.
I appreciate you talking to us this morning. Thank you very much indeed. And what incredible, Catherine Kenny there. What incredible story. That's Britain we're talking about. 2015. People being, coming over. Oh, you've got a job. Yeah, you got a job. What is the job? Well, basically, you sleep on the kitchen floor, don't give you any money, and I'll beat the hell out of you, and you clean my house. You up for it? Yeah, sounds great. It's mad, isn't it? 03459 455 555. Jason's in Milton Keynes. Morning, Jason.
Good morning, how you doing, Ian?
I'm all right, thank you, boss. What you got?
Well, basically, it's about what you were saying about Corbyn.
Oh, yeah, I only heard the second half of the speech. Hang on. I only heard the second half of the speech, which is the bit of the speech where I'm supposed to be terrified.
The bit where he tells the truth.
Uh-oh. Because I can't handle the truth. I can't handle the truth.
That's what we're not supposed to be able to handle, mate. So it's it's very scary, isn't it?
Well, which truths was he saying that made you uncomfortable?
All of it, mate. I was really scared. I was fearing for my life, to be honest.
I'm suspecting, Jason, that there was very little fear going on.
No, there wasn't any fear in there, mate. But that's what the media want you to think, because they control people by fear, isn't it? So
the best the Sun have got is Corbyn's speech written in the 1980s. Jeremy Corbyn's tub-thumping Labour conference speech yesterday was written in the 1980s and rejected by every leader since Neil Kinnock. Large chunks of his rhetoric in Brighton were lifted from a long-ignored piece by a speechwriter, Richard Heller. Hang on, here we go. This is a good one, Jay. You'll like this.
Okay.
Mr. Corbyn launched into a Marxist rant dividing the UK into the oppressed many against the rich few. I didn't get that. The bit that they may be referring to is where he said that David Cameron had gone against a pre-election pledge to not get rid of child tax credits, and then he got rid of them, while changing the rules in inheritance tax, which affects 60,000 people. I don't know. If that's Marxism, then I guess I'm a Marxist.
Well, so am I. Like, it is laughable, to be honest. It is laughable, the things they want you to believe out here.
And Jason, listen, thank you very much for that. So far, they've attacked his who he slept with and what he looks like and what songs he chooses to sing or not sing, right? Yesterday, we got a real glimpse into what he actually stands for. And, well, the front page of The Sun, it's got a tiny little thing. It goes to page 6 and 7. Let's have a little look. What he said is he did mention austerity. He did talk about IS. He did talk about scrapping Trident. He did mention the refugee crisis. And then it's got a list of things he didn't say. What he didn't say, anything about Tony Blair. Why would he say that? Anything about the European Union? Well, they said that they're going to campaign to stay in. We know that. Why Labour suffered an election drubbing? Why? Well, I mean, is that really for him to say? 03459 455 555. After hearing yesterday's Corbyn speech, how terrified of him are you now?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's been an accident in Milton Keynes on Standing Way, so it's partially blocked eastbound between the Brinklow roundabout and the Kingston roundabouts. It's affecting people travelling between Milton Keynes and the M1. It's slow on the M1 southbound between junction 12 for Flitwick and 10 for Luton Airport. And in North Watford on the A41, it's looking very busy at the moment at the Dome roundabout. And nearby on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's slow from junction 17 for Maple Cross to 16 for the M40. And it's busy on the M40 at the Denham roundabout where it meets the A40. It's looking very slow there, past North Holt and Green Hertford as well, heading into London. There's on the train departure boards, the 8:34 service from Bedford to London has been delayed. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. So go on then, after hearing Jeremy Corbyn's speech, has it changed your opinion of him? And what were the bits that we're supposed to be scared of? Because apparently I'm supposed to be scared of him, and what I heard sounded all right. It sounded like, it sounded like an opposition party at last. He came out and he dissed David Cameron. And that's what the opposition is supposed to do. If I've missed something, I'd love to hear from you. Genuinely, 03459 455 555. A lot of Corbyn haters. Give me a call. How did yesterday back up your anti-Corbyn stance? Right, 8:17, BBC Three Counties Radio. These are your news headlines. The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. The go-ahead's been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplants. And in last night's football, there were wins for Wickham and Luton, but defeat for Stevenage.
Three Counties Sport.
Saturday sees all our teams in action. We'll bring you commentary on Watford.
Really exciting to lead this team because the emotion is very high.
MK Dons.
Opportunity, Murphy, 1-1! Josh Murphy!
Luton.
Rolls it in for McGeehan, who can't take the chance. Marriott does though. Marriott does.
And Stevenage.
And Hitchcock, the response is immediate from Stevenage as Hitchcock rises.
As well as keeping you up to date with Wickham.
Right-footed effort, goal! Wickham Wanderers on the counter-attack.
Three Counties Sport.
Saturday from 2 here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Daz says Corbyn gets a tiny amount of the gutter press that other leaders like Farage receives. Well, he's only been in the job for 2 weeks. Has he had it for 2 weeks? He's had a pretty good drubbing. Farage gets... Well, the Farage thing is interesting, all right, because there was one side of the British people saying, well, all these attacks on Farage are unfair. And then there are other sides saying, well, hang on a minute, if Farage, considering the size of the party and the number of MPs he's got, he's getting way too much press. So you're never going to please everybody. I would suggest that Corbyn's probably getting a similar amount of drubbing that Farage got. He's only been here for 2 weeks. You wait. Plenty more time to come for that. 03459 455 555. Dennis is in Dunstable. Morning, Dennis.
Good morning, Ian.
What you got for us, boss?
I don't know. I've just rung up. I said, young lady asked me to ring you, but I said, before I put my foot in the trap, what we're talking about.
Right. Well, what have you got nothing to say? We can just move on.
Mr. Corbyn.
Yes.
Mr. Corbyn, yeah. I think he won't last out till I'm 91.
Well, I don't think you'll last out till you're 91. But
no, I've got no. This is an extra urge to last out.
Okay.
Beat him to it.
Did you hear any of his speech?
No, no, a little dribbings here and there, but then he's like all politicians, he's a line sod. Because it's either by omission or commission. They either don't tell you the whole truth or they tell you an outright lie. So in both cases, they're liars. I wouldn't trust any of them as far as I could throw them. I wouldn't go across the street to wet on them if they're on flame.
Okay, well, but that's not anti-Corbyn specifically. That's just anti-politics.
It's anti-politics, yes. Because if he comes in, he'd probably get rid of the Queen. We'd have another.
Well, no. Hang on a minute. This is the problem. He's not said he's going to get rid of the Queen.
No, but he's a Marxist. So obviously.
Well, hang on. Well, I don't know. I don't know what a Marxist is. Okay.
Well, he's similar to the Russian lot, the Russian Revolution.
Tell me which bit of what Corbyn stands for is similar to the Russian lot.
He's a politician to start with. He's a right. He's a very, very left, and that they go onwards from there.
All right.
So
He wants to build.
In Russia, and I'm just saying, when we have no royalty, no matter how it goes, we're going to have a president, which is another politician.
But again, you're extrapolating from nothing. Okay, let's go through some of it. Yesterday, he said he wants to build 100,000 council and housing association homes a year.
Yes.
Is that good or a bad idea?
Where's the money coming from?
Right. We'll get there in a minute. Is that in principle a good or a bad idea?
Is it a good idea? Council houses? I suppose we need some houses. Unfortunately,
we need loads of houses.
Yeah, I know, but we wouldn't need as many if we wouldn't let as many people into the country in the first place.
Oh, for goodness sake. All right, Dennis. Well,
Sorry, it's
listen.
one of those strapping things. Incidentally, you did say you were having something down in the town, weren't you? The Luton Museum having a...
The Luton Library Theatre, October the 17th, yes.
Yes. Well, are you any tickets left?
There are one or two. I haven't got any comps, otherwise I'd get you a comp.
A comp?
A comp.
Comp, yes.
A comp. I haven't got any comps.
Oh,
so if you're coming, you've got to pay for it.
That's all right.
All right, we'll get on the phone to them and sort it out because it's going to sell out in the next couple of days.
All right. Yes. Okay.
If you, I tell you what, Dan, if you come down, I'll get you up on stage. You get a round of applause.
No fear.
Okay. Good lad. What? You bottler. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Right, people illegally subletting in Aylesbury. To say there's no housing problem, well, there is a story that proves otherwise. People illegally subletting in Aylesbury Vale are being offered the chance to avoid jail by handing their keys in as part of an amnesty. For 1 month, starting tomorrow, the Vale of Aylesbury Housing Trust is encouraging people committing tenancy fraud to come forward. Well, Michael Driscoll is the Tenancy Services Manager from the Trust and is in charge of the amnesty. Michael, how big is this problem then?
Hi, Iain. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to have a discussion about our amnesty, first of all. How widespread is it? Well, obviously, you can see from our press release.
I've not seen the press release. I've not seen the press release. I don't like reading them. I think I like to talk to the people. So go on. How big is the problem?
Well, our press release, you know, that the National Fraud Authority have estimated it's cost councils and housing association about 1.8 billion in 2013. So it's obviously a very large problem.
Well, how big a problem is it in Aylesbury Vale? That's the question I'm asking.
In Aylesbury Vale, well, over the last year and 6 months, we've had 6 instances that we've spoken about in our press release. Those 6 instances...
Michael, I'm really sorry. I make a point of not reading press releases when I know I've got a guest on who can talk about it. So just talk to me, okay? How big is the problem in Aylesbury Vale?
Okay, in Aylesbury, over the last year and 6 months, we've had 6 instances of tenancy fraud where we've taken action and we've successfully got positive outcomes in relation to the return of those properties. So what that tells us is, we've got 7,400 properties across the Vale. So we've had 6. At the same time, we participate in the National Fraud Initiative annually. And what that's told us is it's given us around about 30 matches this year, mainly around about duplicate national insurance numbers. So I think what it tells us is we have a mix of, there are people who are illegally subletting, and at the same time, we've also got some work to do in relation to making sure the data is accurate.
I guess part of the problem is you don't know where these people are, do you? You're entirely dependent on them stepping forward themselves or other people reporting them. That must be a frustrating position.
It is frustrating. I mean, we obviously rely on people reporting suspicions in relation to tenancy fraud to us, and that does happen. Our officers attend and visit our properties regularly, whether it's through reactive repairs, carrying out occupancy checks to properties. But we do rely heavily on people coming to us, and I think that's very reactive. And the amnesty is a bit more proactive. It's a bit different, and I appreciate it's not something that will be for everyone, but I think it's us taking a more proactive approach, raising awareness and setting out our stance for moving forwards.
And how does it work? Just you're hoping, and I know this has worked in other areas, and it's worked in Camden, where I would imagine I'm making up it's a bigger problem. But just unscrupulous landlords just turn up and say, do you know what? I've been doing it, and I'm sorry. How does it meant to work?
Yeah, I mean, if someone does or is committing tenancy fraud, is concerned they're committing tenancy fraud, we've asked them to approach us. And we've said we won't take action during the month of October. I think it is very different. We're essentially asking someone who's breaking the law to come and tell us, and that's a very difficult thing for anyone to do. But I think if you look at things in relation to gun crime, knife crime, the police hold amnesties for people returning weapons. They tend to be very successful. And whilst that's a completely different environment, we don't know what we're going to get from it. We've never done it before. But as I said, it's more proactive than waiting for reports or finding them when officers visit. So hopefully it gives us an opportunity to make best use of our stock and get properties into circulation for people who really need them.
And what help will be offered to the subletters who aren't breaking the law, may not even know that there's something dodgy going on, but need a place to live?
Obviously, I mean, they're victims themselves. They've been victim of someone who's been illegally subletting. What we would do is we'd do as much as we can to support them. We would refer them and work with the local authority in relation to them being provided with housing options in terms of their future housing. I mean, where that would sit, whether they had a need for social housing, whether they qualified for social housing indeed is the question. Obviously, a part of housing options would be about the private rented sector as well. But there's a whole host of affordability issues with that. But we would provide as much support. And we have very good relationships with the local authority in Aylesbury, whereby we would do as much as we can. How many incidents did you say you'd had in the last 18 months? We've had 6 instances in the last.
And were they subletters or were they squatters?
No, that was instances where we came across subletting.
Okay. Well, let's hope that everybody gets the outcome that they deserve. People need to be housed and homed. Michael, thank you very much indeed. Michael Driscoll, Tenancy Services Manager from the Trust. 03459 455 555 81333. Start your text 3CR. If you want to give us a call about that. I'm still trying to find out exactly what part of Jeremy Corbyn's speech yesterday should have me hiding my children under a table because the world is going to end. Didn't quite get it. And also Brits abroad. Now, Catherine, I didn't really read this story. About it was lawyers naked in a fountain.
Yeah.
3 lawyers naked in a fountain.
In the Naiads. Be careful how you read that.
Get your Naiads out.
They did.
Get your Naiads for the lads.
And now they deeply regret it. Now it's been photographed by someone who was so outraged they photographed it.
And there is a thing, when we're abroad, I mean, I don't drink anymore, but I'd never really had a boozy holiday abroad, actually, apart from when we did a load of absinthe in wherever it is you do absinthe. I can't even remember where it was.
Amsterdam?
No. Begins with a P.
Oh, Prague.
Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen.
Home of absinthe.
And the naughtiest thing I did there was move all the pictures around in the hotel because I was tripping on absinthe, man. Oh, and I ran out of a public toilet because I didn't have. You had to put some money in a pot.
I did a hotel switcheroo. Someone had put the parties here, a banner on someone's door.
Yeah.
I put it a bit further down.
Here we go, you said. I know
Serves
you're right.
right.
It wasn't as good as the second time around, Russ. I did try to get him to repeat it, but he said 6 that time. But we do have this thing, Brits abroad. The number of times I avoid Brits abroad because it's awful. Say we go to a Greek island every year, and we don't go to the Lagana, which is where all the pubs advertise X Factor and Ginsters. Yeah. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, if the fry-up is the selling point, I don't want to be there.
It's embarrassing. 03459 455 555. Your stories of Brits abroad. Paul, stay there. I'll come to you after this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Milton Keynes, there's been an accident on the A421 Standing Way that's been partially blocked because of that accident between the Brinklow roundabout and the Kingston roundabout, so it's making it really slow between Milton Keynes and the M1. And Paul just has called to say that the M1 southbound is actually at a standstill at junction 12 for Flitwick, possibly because of the roadworks that are there between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable, adding to the delays caused by the problems in Milton Keynes. Elsewhere, it's looking busy in High Wycombe now, where the roadworks are on Marlow Hill at the junction for Dawes Hill Lane, and on the train departure boards, the 8:34 service from Bedford to Bletchley has been cancelled. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30, I'm Simon Oxley. The go-ahead's been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplants. The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. And David Cameron has announced that Britain will pay £25 million towards a new prison in Jamaica, so hundreds of Jamaican inmates in British jails can serve their sentence in their home country.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Wycombe are top of League Two after beating 10-man Cambridge 1-0 at Adams Park last night. Michael Harriman scored the winner after Gary Thompson had missed a penalty, but manager Gareth Ainsworth isn't getting carried away.
It's great to be sat there. It is a good start to the season and we're really pleased, but you know, we look at our squad sometimes and we know we're punching above our weight still. It's great to know what the boys will give me week in, week out. Like I say, injuries and suspensions will kill us. We've picked one up tonight with Michael Harriman, who may have tweaked his groin, which will put us down again. But this group of lads, you know, they just keep achieving, and the new boys who've come in look like they've gelled really well with the rest of the group.
Luton are up to 11th after a third successive win, 3-1 at Morecambe. Luke Wilkinson, Cameron McGeehan and Jonathan Smith scored for John Still's side.
For the 90 minutes, we were the best team and deserved to win against a good side. And if you win here, you've got to play well. And we played well. We're getting better. Still not quite, but we're getting better. We're getting stronger. My team starts slow. I can't do nothing about that. It's just what we do. But we finished strong and we're getting better. And I'm really pleased with today's performance.
But Stevenage remained 20th after a third successive defeat. Teddy Sheringham's side lost 2-0 at home to Mansfield.
At this moment, it's not good, and I know it's not good. It's understandable, the little grumblings we're hearing, but I know it can be a lot worse. I've been at clubs before when it's been a lot worse. It's no different now. We have to dig deep and be strong together.
And in the Champions League, there were defeats for both Arsenal and Chelsea. Arsenal lost 3-2 at home to Olympiacos. Chelsea lost 2-1 away to Porto. Tonight, Manchester City visit Borussia Mönchengladbach, with Manchester United at home to another German side, Wolfsburg. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let's go to Paul in Bletchley. Morning, Paul.
Oh, morning, Ian. How you going?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you, boss. What have you got for us?
Well, this speech, I heard little snatches of it. As a general point, if I had £1 for every time one of them said change, we're going to change this, we're going to change that. Sometimes you almost think it's just change for the sake of change. You know, it's that annoys me a little bit.
Well, but hang on, if he wants to change things, what other word is he supposed to say?
Well, true, but it does raise. It's almost as though it's the word they like. You know, people think, it's a motive word, really. You know, yeah, I agree with you in a way, but
it's what he's providing, right? Which I don't think Miliband did, and you could argue that Blair and Brown didn't. He's offering us an opposition, a genuine opposition to what the Tories are offering. It's now clearer to see the difference between the two.
I agree with you. It provokes a lot of discussion. I agree, absolutely.
That can only make the Tories better as well, can't it? If they realise that there are people that are chasing them and pointing out what they perceive to be their mistakes and errors, that's got to make the Conservatives raise their game. So it's good for everyone.
I do agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you there. It's no good having a clone of Cameron, or at least they're different colours, shall we say now, and it provokes a lot of debate. Absolutely, I go along with that 100%. And I think he is open to change. I mean, he's talked about renationalising the railways. Well, I'm totally against that, but I think that will that'll be open to debate, won't it? But as long as he's not buying votes, as perhaps Brown did, I offer him more benefits, etc., just to get people to vote for them. That's what you don't want. You want a politics based in realism, where okay, everybody gets treated fairly as well, where we can all have a say in things. And also, Dennis was running politicians down, but if people don't stand up to be counted, whether they're local councillors, whether they're MPs, you're not going to have a democratic system.
Paul, listen, you're right. I've got to move on because I've got to squeeze it, but you're right. And also, if you're an MP and you're invited to be a shadow minister or a junior shadow minister and you choose not to, I kind of just think it says something. Right, so Bare Naked Ladies, we're playing their songs all the time because they're one of my favourite bands. They're on tour at the moment. They've got a new album out called Silver Ball, and me and Kath got to meet them the other day.
Is it still fun? Yeah, I've been saying to a lot of folks lately, we're 27 years in, and I think I'm having more fun than ever, actually. We just came off 37 dates in America, where we also had Colin Hay, who's opening up this UK tour with us, and it was just a pleasure. We had Colin and the Violent Femmes, and I just felt very fortunate to still be in a rock band with people I enjoy. And
and this is a serious thing. We were just talking about the Kinks. We're in Crouch End, which is kind of near where the Kinks live, and I'm reading the book. The Kinks hate each other, okay, and they stay together for years, but they hate. Do you still really get on? There's got to be kind of bits that wind you up about each other.
Well, there certainly are bits that wind us up, but the joy for us is that we love Bare Naked Ladies, but hate the Kinks, and that's what keeps us going. No, we don't. We actually love the Kinks.
You have to have a scapegoat rock band.
Yeah, and it's the Kinks.
That's always the Kinks.
That's blasphemy in this country.
We're united in our hatred of the Kinks. It's not true.
Tell us about who wants to tell us about Silver Ball, the new album, which is a treat, by the way.
I would love to tell you about Silver Ball. What do you want to know? I know everything about it.
How much money did you make for it?
0 so far.
What number album is this? We've got to be into the teens, haven't we?
Yeah, I think it's 14.
Jeez.
It depends if you count a live record or something in there. I think it's our 14th studio album, actually.
I agree with that. I think it's number 14, and number 14 is obviously a lucky number, because it's like lucky 7 times 2.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't have another shred of mathematic evidence that that's a true statement. But 14 albums in, we're still making records. We still enjoy it. This time we worked with Gavin Brown. He's done our last 2 records, actually. He's a Toronto guy. Producer. He's worked with Metric and Tragically Hip and Billy Talent and bands like that. And he's a great guy, and he's got a great beard.
I was going to say, you've come back kind of hairier than before. There's with certain exceptions, there's a lot of hair.
I'm the exception.
No,
I have there's a mole right here that actually sprouts a little hair, but otherwise I'm not really. I can't really contribute. Sorry,
Jim's
guys.
still a baby.
He's a wee baby.
Why are you doing a Pakistani accent?
Every time.
I don't get it. Are you a democratic band? It sounds like everyone's kind of chipping in. Is that how it works?
Yeah, we're probably closer to socialists than we are to Democrats. But yeah, everybody gets heavily involved in every aspect of it. I think that's why it's such a pleasure to record. It's not a dictatorship in the studio.
I have got beef with you. I'm clutching my phone because I've got my boys 5 and 3. They've kind of just discovered you. My eldest went to his first concert last week. He went to see the Monkees. First concert. But
Monkees?
Took him to see the Monkees, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I know. Monkees? The Monkees?
A new Monkees?
That's the Monkees. That's the old Monkees.
It's more like the monkey now.
It's just very monkey.
But I've got my boys have discovered you now, and they love you, and that's great. It's brilliant. But my car journeys. This is my car journey.
What? And everyone is addressed to me.
Harmony. Yeah, that's the youngest.
That's you, isn't it?
This goes on for like 5 minutes, guys.
Why is your son doing a Pakistani accent?
Thank you, Ed.
Because my wife is from Pakistan. This goes on for like 5 constantly.
I love it.
That's not a repeat.
This is
a natural repeat.
This is it, just going on and on.
Yeah, they're good boys. Yeah.
Good taste.
No, I mean,
boys,
guys.
your allowance is in the mail.
And this is one of the things that is great about you, is that, and I've got to phrase this properly, is your songs, it's kind of, there's adult stuff going on, but there's something childlike about them as well. Is that how you seal part of your appeal?
Well, we're a fairly simple lot, I think.
That's sort of embedded in the whole philosophy and roots of the band, you know, even in the band name. It's sort of got a childlike quality to it.
Oh, the boys think it's hilarious. Oh, where are you going today, Daddy? I'm going to see bare naked ladies. Oh, yeah, boobies. They're excited. Any chance of any boobies today?
Only man boobies.
You know
You're
what?
into that.
At 42, I'll take. And your kids love them as well.
Totally obsessed. Lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did. Then I was lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did.
She sings with vigour. She's 3.
That's awesome.
Wow.
She knows best.
She may sing that better than I do.
Well, I'm just, if you ever get a sore throat or anything, we've got a couple of candidates that are willing to come in.
Well, we're a lot like Menudo, but our cutoff age is 50. So once we get to 50, we have to start rotating in British children.
How do you, very quickly, we're going to let you go because I know you kind of just got here yesterday and you must be shattered. How do you decide, because you've got so many songs and so many albums and so many good songs, how do you kind of fight over which ones you get to play? I mean, obviously there are the obvious ones. If you didn't play one week, I'm guessing you'd get lynched, but the kind of...
Well, what's happening right now is, especially on the last 2 records, is a lot of the new songs really play well live. They work for the quartet, you know, and so it's been nice to have that new batch of songs to throw into the set, and they seem to work really seamlessly. So
And
I don't
it keeps
know.
us excited as well
Yeah.
when we were playing newer material, and the audience loves it. Forget all the hits. Play us some new stuff. But you know,
we're a band that doesn't hate our hits too.
Good.
You know, so I enjoy the energy that playing a hit song injects into a live show. And if we're bored of something or sick of something, we just change it or we leave it out for a while. We've got a long career and we've got a lot of songs to choose from. There are a few songs that we play every night, so we just find ways to keep them interesting. But I never want to be a guy on stage that's not enjoying what he's doing. So if we're not enjoying something, we take it out of the rotation.
Listen, we're going to let you go. Pick 2 songs for us. One from the new album and one from your entire back catalogue. Doesn't have to be an obvious one.
Okay. From the new album, like, should I be choosing the single or
You
just
choose whatever one you fancy. Which one maybe doesn't get airplay or whatever you like.
Okay, guys.
Guys.
Played Toe to Toe. I really like.
I think Duct Tape Heart is good.
Oh, we've got a difference of opinion.
See, you're starting a fight now.
Let's play Duct Tape Toe. Either Toe to Toe or Duct Tape Heart.
We'll play Toe to Toe one day and Duct Tape Heart the next day.
Perfect.
Anything. This is going. You've got 14 albums. Anything from the back catalogue. Anything.
Popcorn.
We play Popcorn every single day. That 7:30. That's you've replaced the theme tune to the Fall Guy, which we used to play in that slot, and now it's Popcorn.
how about a song from our Everything to Everyone album?
Oh yes.
And I'm gonna choose the song called. What's that one?
What you're thinking of.
I love when you step in with nowhere to go.
No, I had the name of the song. And I
He
totally
comes in with
forgot
such
it.
confidence.
How does it go?
What's the drum part like?
Oh, it Maybe Katie is what I was trying to think.
yeah?
of. Yeah, Maybe Katie. Yeah, that's the song that I was trying to think of.
Beautiful song. We'll have it.
Nice pick.
Yeah, that's
good
good.
choice.
Maybe Katie.
I'll set the metronome.
What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about Katie? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about Katie? What's the maybe about? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? Katie. What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? Katie. Can't you see her with her arms wide open? She's everything that you've been hoping for. Forever's not so long, stop moping. She's got a daughter and you're just not coping. Do you know everyone you ever swore you'd love for life? I don't know them anymore, I know their names. I'd recognize them on the street and I don't love them. What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? Katie. What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? Katie. What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? Katie. What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? Katie.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The A421 standing way in Milton Keynes in Wavendon is queuing because of a overturned vehicle that's partially blocked the road between the Kingston roundabout. It's looking very slow there, and in the surrounding areas the M1 southbound is reported to be at a standstill by Paul. He said he's stuck at junction 12 for Flitwick, in where the A10 northbound as the entry slip road has been blocked there because of an accident at the Ware and Harlow turnoff. It's because of an accident involving two vehicles near the McDonald's, and on the A40 into London at the M40 Denham roundabout it's looking very busy too. The M25 also has delays anti-clockwise between junction 17th Maple Cross and 16th for the M40. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 8:46, last 15 minutes of the show. 03459 455 555. Brits abroad. And just how terrified of Jeremy Corbyn are you now after hearing his speech? More calls coming up after the news. The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. The go-ahead's been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplants. And in last night's football, there were wins for Wickham and Luton, but defeat for Stevenage. Let's get the weather.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Blue sky and sunshine day again. High pressure still dominates. Today's edition, though, is a brisk easterly wind, which isn't really having too much impact. I'm pleased to say we're looking at temperatures getting up to around 18, so a really pleasant afternoon in the sunshine. Overnight, dry and clear. The wind, to a certain extent, easing, so we may see one or two mist and fog patches developing. Quite chilly in the countryside, minimum around 8 Celsius. For tomorrow, more of the same. Strong spells of sunshine. Again, the wind a bit lighter, so in fact, it is going to feel perhaps a little bit warmer tomorrow. Maximum 18 Celsius, and this run of settled weather with this high pressure looks like it's going to last into the weekend as well, and that's your forecast.
If you've missed any of the programmes here on BBC Three Counties Radio, you've missed things like this.
What have you got for us, Liz? Can you beat leaving his scooter behind?
Yes. I've left my knickers behind.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
And he had been replaced with a baby grey budgie.
What?
Yes, he's been replaced.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Yes, the idea of preparing for Monty Python made me aware that I enjoy being on stage, enjoy being in front of a live audience.
Allowing you to listen to what you missed.
Would you sue your neighbour, your friends, if your child got hurt on one of their trampolines?
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio. This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yvonne's in Cranfield. Good morning, Yvonne.
Hiya.
Hiya, Yvonne. You right?
Yeah, fine.
Have you had breakfast?
Yes.
What did you have?
Cereal, coffee.
Fag.
Have you not had breakfast?
I've not had breakfast yet. I've not had breakfast, and do you know what? I'm starving, and I'm going to have to do. Well, I tell you what I'm going to have to do. And every time I do this, I vow never to do it again. I'm going to have to stop off at a petrol station on the way home and get one of their. Oh, look at you laughing! I get one of those horrible coffees from the machine.
What are you going to buy?
I'm going to buy. All right, this is what breakfast is going to be, right? And I know which petrol station I'm going to go to. I'm going to buy coffee. I'm going to buy a disappointing warm cheese and onion pasty. And I'm going to buy a bag of minstrels. There's breakfast.
I would say more fool you.
More fool. Are you smoking a fag now?
Yes.
Oh! Tomorrow on the show, remind me, tomorrow on the show we're going to have a fag break for our listeners. Because cigarette smokers, they get such a hard time. And I know Dealey's trying to knock it on the head because he's not very well. And smoking isn't good for you, right? But tomorrow, I want to have a cigarette break for all our listeners where we're going to have a 5-minute break where they can nip out and have a quick fag so they don't miss any of the show.
What time?
I'm in my 70s.
Oh, so smoking's made you live longer.
I'm going to give up the fag.
No, you listen. Here's the thing: if you're 70 and over and you're still smoking, get in there, double it, double up, spark 2 fags up at one. Have you ever done that, Yvonne?
I hate to tell you.
Yes.
My grandmother was 103 when she died. When she was 100, for her birthday, she got 2,000 cigarettes.
Wow.
And God knows how many bottles of whiskey.
But just think, Yvonne, if she hadn't have drunk and smoked all that, she could have lived to 106.
Anyway, come on, get on with it.
Well, yes, get on with it. Get on with it. What you got for us, Yvonne?
Right, okay. This man, all I know is
Corbyn.
he's a Republican.
Right, okay.
He's got very left-wing views.
Okay.
Absolutely fine.
Yes.
He reminds me of Michael Foot, who was an academic.
Yeah.
And the academics, their views are unrealistic in the modern world. So could you tell me where Jeremy Corbyn, what's his background?
I wasn't expecting the conversation to go. Well, his background is he's been an MP in North London for, about 30 years, 35 years, something like that?
Yeah, but what was it? Did he go to university?
I haven't got a clue. I doubt it. I don't know. I haven't got a clue.
Exactly.
Why does it? But why is that? But why is that important? What he did? What is he now? He's in his what is he? 65. Why is it important what he did 40 years ago?
Because that indicates how he arrives at his left-wing view.
So you only want a prime minister who's been to university?
No.
No? You want one who hasn't been to university?
I'm not saying that. I am saying you need the background, University of Life or the University of
Sussex.
A proper university.
Right.
Or
What's wrong? Supposing he's... Well, Catherine has the answer, and I don't know what the answer is, and we're going to go to her in just a moment. We're going to go to her in just a moment and find out what the answer is, OK? But supposing it's just through life experience. The BBC, I think, called him elderly. As he was going on stage, I think the Andrew Neil show called him elderly. He's only 66. He's a spring chicken to you. He's a toy boy. Yeah. Hang on. Catherine, what's his background?
Right, according to the fount of all knowledge that is Wikipedia, he was educated at the independent Castle House Prep School near Newport, Shropshire, before attending a grammar school as a day student, right? Yeah. While still at the school, he became active in the Wrekin constituency Young Socialists and his local Labour Party. Okay. He achieved 2 A-levels with E grades.
This is as dull as I expected,
Hang on. Then after school, he spent 2 years doing voluntary service overseas in Jamaica before becoming a full-time official for the National Union of Public Employees and Amalgamated Engineering and Electrical
Did he go to university?
Wait.
Well, I'm not going to wait much longer because it's boring.
Then he pursued a degree in trade union studies at North London Polytechnic, which he left after his first year without completing his studies.
So, no. Does that make a difference? No.
I rest my case.
Well, what case have you rested? There's no case. I don't understand what you... So because he spent a year at Poly and then didn't stick it out, is that good or a bad thing?
It depends on what you use that experience.
I don't know what your Yvonne, I don't know what your case is that you've rested. Pick it back up again. Don't rest it.
Well, for goodness sake, what he's saying at the moment, what he said yesterday, all of it is idealistically great. But in the practical world, in the modern world in which we live...
In this ever-changing world in which we live in...
Yeah.
When it makes you give in and cry...
Sorry?
Say live and let die.
Probably.
I don't. Okay, so you're saying that what he's go on, have another growler. What he's saying is good. You know, the thing about building another 100,000 council houses and having a discussion about whether we spend £100 billion on Trident or not, and reducing the you just can't say whatever. Those are big things. But you're saying they're impractical, and he's not done the math.
No, he hasn't.
Okay, so he's just saying them. The thing about helping the child tax benefits that were scrapped by the Tories, he wants to bring that back in. That's impractical?
Possibly. A good idea.
Yeah. Reducing the stigma on mental health, that's impossible?
Probably.
Okay. All right, Yvonne.
We can't afford it.
Okay, Yvonne.
And that's the point of the exercise.
And that's what he's being picked up on a lot, because he said all these things and people are going, yeah, okay, where's the money coming from?
Yep, exactly.
Cheers, my dear. See you later on, Yvonne. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Ta-ta. Yeah, and most people have picked up on that. How are you going to afford it, boss? 03459. What's that? What's the tweet about canals?
Canals?
What's that? See it on the machine, but I don't know if it's
All right,
on.
hang on, let's have a look. Is it for us? Have we mentioned canals?
Yeah, is autumn the best time to explore your local canal?
Here's some thoughts on it.
I mean...
This is from the Canals and Rivers Trust press team.
Oh, those guys. Those guys with their canal propaganda. They're so anal about canals.
Yeah.
They're anal about canals. No, I can't.
Good one, though. Excellent.
So I don't understand what Yvonne... bless you, Yvonne. I don't understand what her point was about university.
If he went to university, that's why he's idealistic. He didn't, so that's why.
Well, Adrian says she accused him of being an academic, then sneered he never went to uni. Andrew says, I went to Poly and dropped out. Do I qualify?
The thing is, right, look what he was doing around being at Poly. He was hugely active in a number of causes.
It's a great picture, and it's easy. And I'm not saying this is, we can all manipulate pictures to tell any story I want, any story that we want. But there's a great picture of a comparison picture of what Cameron was doing in the 80s and what Corbyn was doing in the 80s. Cameron, he's in his Bullingdon Club outfit, standing looking like a toff. Corbyn, he's been arrested by a copper, holding a banner saying give homes to homeless people, or something like that. I've simplified it even more, and you can do, the comparisons are easy to make, and we could tell any story we wanted, but it's a nice little
Still, according to Yvonne, he doesn't live in the real world.
Well, okay, yeah. How's he going to pay for those 100,000 council houses? Well, okay. Well, I've just worked it out. Sorry, by not spending £100 billion on Trident. That's how he's going to pay for it. Okay. Then the question is, there's a chain reaction of questions. Those people that work that are employed by Trident, how are you going to employ them? How are you going to redeploy their skills? So there's a whole chain of questions, and I don't have the answers. Maybe he doesn't have the answers, but still. I've been to party conferences, and that one sounded quite good fun.
The parties look good, didn't they?
Yeah, well, the ones I've been to are dull, man. They're so dull. And they're full of just weird young people who are really into politics and weird old people who are embittered about politics. It's a strange thing to go to. Right, guys, that's it. That's your lot. If you missed the Bare Naked Ladies interview, we'll whack it in the podcast. You'll get some of that podcast, you say? What podcast? You go to iTunes, you type in Iain Lee, and it pops up. Oh, and a reminder, this Saturday at midday between 12 and 2, brand new show, me and Catherine going down the rabbit hole. You're more than welcome to join us, guys.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Milton Keynes, standing way is really busy between Milton Keynes and the M1 as it goes through Wavendon, and it's partially blocked by an overturned vehicle, which is why it's at the Kingston roundabout. It's also very busy on the M1 southbound. Paul would say it's at a standstill at junction 12 for Flitwick, and in where the A10's entry slip road is partially blocked northbound at the Harlow turnoff, and that's causing delays near the McDonald's. On the M40 into London, there are queues from the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout towards junction 3 for Loudwater. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. So a warm pasty, half filled with the filling that's promised, and a bag of minstrels. Breakfast is coming for you. No, hang on. Daddy is coming for breakfast. There we go. I'm so hungry I can't even string a sentence together. Thanks for all your calls. We got there in the end. Get well soon, Dealey. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Catherine. Back tomorrow at 6. Until then, from us.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Wednesday, it's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In, would you like this country to be run by Jeremy Corbyn? In his first conference speech as leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn has told voters they don't have to accept inequality and injustice, and that Britain can and must change. He says he'd make Britain a kinder and more caring place, and that we no longer have to put up with austerity. Mr Corbyn argues the Conservatives were paid for by a few wealthy people. They serve a few wealthy people, and he instead would raise money by properly taxing bankers and big businesses like Google and Amazon. The new Labour leader has also said he'd scrap Britain's nuclear defence system Trident and find more money to build enough council houses to get rid of homelessness. Well, this morning I want to hear from you. Would you like this country to be run by Jeremy Corbyn? Here's the telephone number for your call. It's 03459 455 555.
This is the JVS show
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'll take your call in just a second, but first let's get the latest BBC News at 9 o'clock. Here's Simon Oxley.
The headlines go ahead for womb transplants in the UK. Claims that woman slave was left by police at Milton Keynes Hotel. And wins for Wickham and Luton, defeat for Stevenage.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The go-ahead's been given for doctors to carry out the UK's first womb transplants following the success of the procedure in Sweden. The clinical trial will involve 10 women, and if successful, the first British babies born from donor wombs could be delivered in 2017. The BBC's Richard Lister says they now need to get the funding.
This organisation has been going for several years, Womb Transplant UK. They have been monitoring the programme in Sweden, and they've been trying to ensure that Britain will be ready to bring it to this country once they have the money. They need altogether about £500,000 in order to get this trial going. They've raised about 40,000 so far, but they're optimistic that now they've had clinical approval to start this trial, and of course with the success of the programme in Sweden, they will get the rest of the money.
The lawyer representing a woman treated as a domestic slave in Milton Keynes claims she was left by the police outside a hotel. 39-year-old Pamela Turkey went on to take legal action against her employers and was awarded £180,000 in compensation. Thames Valley Police say they take safeguarding very seriously but won't comment on the case specifically. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has said he would not use Britain's nuclear weapons if he were Prime Minister. Speaking to the BBC the morning after his first conference speech as leader, he repeated his position that Trident should not be renewed.
187 countries don't feel the need to have a nuclear weapon to protect their security. I'm opposed to the use of nuclear weapons. I'm opposed to the holding of nuclear weapons. I want to see a nuclear-free world. I believe it is possible.
Costa Coffee, owned by Bedfordshire-based Whitbread, says it's increasing the pay of more than 12,000 employees, so they'll be on more than the new national living wage. From tomorrow, baristas will get at least £7.40 an hour once they've completed their initial training. Hertfordshire singer James Bay has claimed the biggest selling album released in 2015. The Hitchin Stars' debut album, Chaos and the Calm, has totalled nearly 300